Hello and welcome to what is very clearly the first ever Fumbles&Fame plays Tomb of Annihilation stream for Fumbles&Fame International D&D, a Discord community created to, as the name suggests, connect DMs or GMs and players around the world and to discuss and enjoy our love for D&D and RPGs as a whole. I am the Dungeon Master for this game. I'm Tolley DM, and I'm from Canada. And my players are, let's just do the exact same order that we tried to do the first time we tried to stream.
Hello, I'm Tony. I'm from the United States. I live in the same house as two other people that are playing in this game. I am also part of the AA meeting.
I'm Will. I'm part of the trio in the same house. Yeah, we're both here for the AA.
I am Shelby. I also live in the same house. I'm the last one, I swear.
I'm Daniel. I'm also from the USA. And yeah.
And I'm Tahina. I'm from Germany.
And I am Henrik, the guy from Belgium, and behind me is my loyal animal companion, Zelda.
Who just seems like she just has a really, really tough life.
No, she's taking a long rest to get her spells back.
Aha! This is an interesting new find familiar that we're dealing with here. All right. Well, I guess we just have a couple of announcements to get through before we get into actually playing before you guys. We do have another stream up and coming on the 22nd of December. Time, I think, still to be announced. It is the Horde of the Dragon Queen stream on the 22nd of December. You won't want to miss it, as another group of international players come together to defeat the rising dragon threat in the Sword Coast. Also, currently in the community, we're still looking for 4 players to join a game of Fate, another RPG. If you'd like to know more, go to our Twitter, @Fumbles&Fame, all one word, and follow the link to the Discord, or I'm sure the wonderful mods that are hopefully back in the chat can perhaps post a link. Also, if you're a DM or GM, run a game just like this with hopefully better results for international players, or are a player looking to join a game, we are a community that hopes to continue to grow, so find the link either by going to the Twitter, or hopefully there is a link in the chat by now that you can follow. And with that, let's settle in and get ready for the beginning of Tomb of Annihilation.
Boom, boom, boom.
Our story begins with a group of adventurers drawn together by a retired adventurer and merchant residing in Baldur's Gate named Sindra Sylvain. She confirmed the rumors that had been pervading the streets and taverns up and down the Sword Coast. A death curse had struck anyone who had ever been raised from the dead, slowly returning them to the grave that they had once cheated. Additionally, the normal spells and rites that could grant such miracles, resurrecting the dead, were now failing. Sindra revealed to the adventurers that she too had been struck with this curse that had been stymieing all those who had attempted to reverse the effect. But all was not lost. Sindra also revealed that her contacts in the Harpers had discovered, at great cost, that the cause of this curse was a necromantic artifact of great power, known only as the Soulmonger. She implored the group of adventurers to travel to faraway Chult, a land of enormous reptiles, savage goblins, and an army of undead prowling its jungles and ruins. Because of all of these dangers, the map that Sindra could provide only allowed players to see a few miles into the interior of the island. She offered to, upon acceptance of her quest, to teleport the adventurers to Port Nianzaru, the last bastion against the terrible wilderness of Chult. Our adventurers accepted this risky quest, and without another word were swept away into a teleport spell. However, something went wrong. The spell was disrupted before they had arrived at their destination, and instead of arriving at Port Nyanzaru with Sindra, the adventurers found themselves alone in a strange land, stranded on a beach together, with a maniacal laugh echoing in their heads, and a demon face soundlessly screaming, leaving a burnt image in their eyes like a camera flash. Quickly gathering their bearings, the party found a landmark poking out from the thick jungle foliage of Chult, a gleaming golden roof at a far-off distance. They also found, fairly quickly, a path leading to such a landmark. After a quick encounter with what was to be discovered as goblins wearing strange oversized animal masks, the adventurers finally arrived at Port Nyanzaru. The city in front of them was an explosion of color. Buildings painted in bright shades of blue, green, orange, and salmon pink, or walls adorned with murals portraying giant reptiles and mythical heroes were on every corner of the cobblestone street. Every building sporting baskets and clay urns of colorful flowers or draped in leafy flowering vines. Minstrels in bright clothing adorned with feathers and shells performed on street corners, as well as the masses of people moving throughout the streets. Dwarfing them were dinosaurs of all shapes and sizes, both being used as beasts of burden and being ridden by people. After a bit of shopping in the Grand Souk of the city, which is one of the main markets here in Port Nyanzaru, one of the adventurers, our Aasimar paladin, Selenia, received a letter from their strange friend Sindra, who informed them that she had been looking for them, and that she was staying with Wakanga Otamu, one of the 7 merchant princes of the city. She gave instructions to seek audience with him at Golden Throne, as he would prove valuable in assisting them. The adventurers were also told to find lodgings within the city, recommending either a rowdier establishment, known as the Thundering Lizard, or a more quiet and luxurious stay at Kaya's House of Repose. Most of the party opted to stay at Kaya's House of Repose, while one of them, the dwarf, Mr. T, went drinking in the Thundering Lizard. But eventually, the cleric decided to go and find her dwarf friend and put him up in Kaya's with a room that she had purchased for him herself. You all went to sleep with thoughts of screaming demon faces and the terrible adventure that could potentially lie ahead. And that is where we pick off today's session. So, in the same order that you guys introduced yourselves as players, I'd like you guys to imagine a camera is at the bottom of the steps of the 2nd floor of Kaya's House of Repose. And as each of your characters comes down the steps, I'd like you to both say what race and class you are, just because we don't have any writing under our cameras. And also describe your character for us.
Sin comes down the steps. He's a barbarian. He's human. He's not from this land, though. He's a big, burly dude. He's muscular and he's tall. As he walks down the steps even more, you can notice that as he walks past, he has wolf eyes on the back of his, or wolf tattoos on the back of his back. They watch the evil spirits to make sure that he is all is well, since he has eyes behind his back. Not much is known about him, as he was exiled from his island that he came from. He is still learning this land. With the party that he's with, he is very intrigued, especially with all the type of people that are here, and the marvelous beauty of the landscape that is around.
All right, and Morthos is next to go down the stairs. He is a tiefling warlock with black hair, crimson skin, and some orangey, yellowish eyes and ram horns. He hails from Luskin, and he was part of the Brotherhood Arcana, and far as he knows, he is the first member of the Brotherhood Arcana to be here in this strange land.
All right, so next up is Ven, and she comes down the stairs in all the regality she can muster. She is pale. She's a Damphir sorcerer, I should say that first off. But she's pale, but not too pale. Has reddish-brown hair and is in tight black pants with a corset and a vest and a golden black cape. I also should mention she is holding a bottle of expensive-looking wine.
Okay. Coming down the stairs next is Selenia, a bronze-skinned 5'8" female Aasimar with a muscular yet curvy figure, pear-shaped body, has a heart-shaped, stern-looking face, always looking like she's mad. Has these thick, naturally arched eyebrows, just sparkling, just above her sparkling golden eyes. I gotta read my script. Sorry. She has this faded half-inch scar right above her button-shaped nose next to her left eyebrow. She has a birthmark over her right lip, but you wouldn't really notice it because she has pursed lips. She's wearing a white gown over her chainmail, and then her wearing a shawl over her golden shimmering hair because of her natural angelic. Yeah. I'm terrible at describing people.
That's fine. You did awesome.
It's
By the way, just so everyone knows, Daniel is a newbie, first ever D&D player. So he's been doing awesome so far. So I hate to interrupt. Let's continue with the character description.
She's carrying her circle-shaped spear, not spear, but shield on her back, and her spear behind between. I don't know how to describe a spear and shield together. It's on her back right now, and her long sword on her head as she walks to the nearest chair.
Excellent. And moving on to the next character.
okay. Next up is my character. Her name is Runa Rikasdottir. She's from the north, and she is a human as well, and a cleric of Kalimdor, which you can easily tell because she's wearing the holy symbol of Kalimdor around her neck, which is a skeletal hand raised up holding scales, and the same symbol is on her shield that she's carrying on her back. She is of average height and most likely in her 20s. She has dark hair that she has pulled back so no one can grab it in a fight. And she has very light gray eyes and a kind expression on her face. On her shoulders, it's a black raven with shimmering feathers. His name is Corvin. It's her familiar. And she is heavily protected in chainmail armor, so you don't only see her, you can hear her clink, 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 going down the stairs. And she looks slightly uncomfortable because it's so hot here. She feels as if she's being cooked in her armor. And she has a mace with her and wears a tattered old cloak, grayish black in color, and it's fastened with a brass-colored brooch with dwarven symbols on it.
All right. And finally, but definitely not last.
You see this guy? You can hear me, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. You see this guy walk up on the top of the stairs. You can't really make out if he's a dwarf or a human, and you're absolutely right because he's a half dwarf. He's half a dwarf. But the thing is, you immediately notice that he's not wearing his armor. He's actually just in his underpants because he never puts on his armor when he goes for breakfast. So he just is just holding the wall after a night of drinking, like holding the wall and going down the stairs, almost tripping. And then he looks at the cleric and he's like, "You took me to this hellish place." And then he looks at the sorcerer, the female sorcerer. "You owe me 50 gold pieces." And then he just sits down and takes whatever drink he can get. He's just like in his boxers right now.
Okay. The proprietor of Kaya's House of Repose, who is Kaya, approaches. She's a middle-aged Chelton woman, wearing the traditional clothing of Chelt, which is usually a loose-fitting robe of lightly colored fabrics that seems to breathe very easily in this weather. And she approaches, and she actually has a tray with a pitcher of a liquid in it. You're not sure what it is. With 6 cups, also has a small canvas sack of a grainy type of substance. For some of you, especially Ven, you probably recognize it. This is granola. It's grown very commonly in the Western Heartlands. Selenia, you would recognize this as well, being from Elturel and Eltergard as a whole. There is also a wonderful assortment of all manner of fruits, dragon fruit, mango, papaya, pineapple, coconut. It's quite a nice little spread. Should one of you pour the liquid into a cup, you notice immediately that it is not water, but is in fact tej, a amber-colored liquid made from fermented honey that seems to be very, very popular amongst the locals. And Kaya turns to you all and she says, "How did you sleep?"
Dat is niet erg, schatje. Love you.
I slept
Krijg je een
very
kus?
well.
Yeah, we believe that we all slept very well.
I don't know what kind of fabric this is, but I actually got a good night's rest. It's better than sleeping outside, I will say that.
Dat is niet erg. Echt niet erg.
It was fair enough.
Is there anything I can do to improve your stay, miss?
I slept very well, but in the wrong room.
The wrong room.
I mean, I'll always take a free bottle of wine to compensate my losses in sleeping in that bed.
Yes, right away. And I do apologize for you being in the wrong bed, sir, but perhaps maybe a little less tej during the night, and you may find that that problem doesn't reoccur.
Okay,
He
smartass.
wasn't in the wrong bed. He was in the right bed. He just didn't know that it was the right bed because of the tej.
She does scurry away, and she actually does come back with another full bottle of wine for you, Ven. But this time, putting it down, you can definitely tell that this label is definitely not as good as the one you had before.
Is it awful?
You taste it. It's okay. It's definitely not as good as the first bottle of wine that you actually paid money for. But I mean, it depends on whether it satiates you. It's a bit tanniny and leaves a bit of a bitter taste in your mouth. You kind of have to wash it down with the better wine or some tej to kind of get rid of the aftertaste that leaves dry fuzzies in your mouth.
It'll do. Thank you.
She bows deeply and just seems to go off to a couple of other patrons. There are only 1 or 2 other people in Kaya's House of Repose at the moment, perhaps just here having a bit of a late breakfast or an early lunch. They seem to just be laborers of the city, no one that really draws the eye, perhaps just here having a meal and then moving on.
So they are natives, right?
Yes, absolutely, definitely. Definitely Chelton.
I watch them very closely and try to figure out the native language here.
Okay, they actually do seem to be speaking common for the most part. you note that generally most people here do speak common, and it seems only kind of the older citizens of the city generally stick to regular ancient Chelton versus just common. You get the sense that perhaps this is because recently the city has maybe been trying to expand trade. And so in doing so, they needed to kind of meet the language of all the other countries. You all partake in the breakfast, I take it?
Sin asks if
Yes.
we can have the granola and some water in his room, for he has to do early morning prayer.
Okay, Sin, you get up from the steps as soon as you request it and head straight for your room, yet somehow the items you requested beat you to your room, and
What
they are just
sorcery is
on
this?
a little cabinet beside the bed. However, it's tasty, it's fine, and you do your morning prayers. Now, what is your morning prayers like?
Sin puts down 3 rocks. The rocks look like red, blue, and green, representing earth, fire, and water. As he sits down, he brings out his bongos, because he has a musical instrument. Now, with the high that comes from his island, it actually sounds like thunder when he beats on it. So, it gets a little rowdy in his room. As he plays his bongos, it sounds like immense thunder. And he is humming, he is singing a tune for his deity.
Shut up.
Yes, and indeed, you do very clearly hear this kind of boom, ba 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 bum, ba 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 bum, with this strange, like, very, very deep, like, singing with it. And it is almost the most horrendous noise combination that you can think of. And Kaya is just beside herself, just like looking up. Is that your friend making that noise?
No, we don't know him.
Yeah, it's my best
Sure.
friend. You got problems with that?
Said, no, I've just never heard something so strangely disturbing. After a period of time,
Can I take like
Go on.
a bar stool and pound the ceiling where his chamber is at? Like, quit it, man.
okay, so now not only is there this kind of boom, 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 boom with this throat singing, but now you've got this constant douche, 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 douche. And it just creates this cacophony of noise that you think is just going to overwhelm your brains. And then it seems the singing stops, and Mr. T drops the stool, very proud of himself, I'm sure, probably thinking that it was him and him alone that stopped such a noise. You watch as Sin comes back down the stairs, probably a mouthful of granola, and looking rather relaxed. And he kind of stretches out, and he kind of,
That ritual, that prayer was just, it spoke to me. I spoke to my God.
I really love the music, man. Really, really cool.
Well, I will play it for you sometime if you want to join me.
Yeah, sure. Just need a drink then.
Was it that bad?
No, I can enjoy things more when even more when I drink and have clothes on. By the way.
Fair enough. Sometime you will have to join me then.
all right, so you guys finish up breakfast. It's good, it's hearty, you feel it'll give you energy for the day. And now what would you like to do?
I'll pull out the 50 gold pieces that I stole and throw them at Mr. T in his underwear and tell him, don't spend it all in one place.
Okay. Thanks. And
So
I put this bag of gold somewhere.
Well,
yes, do describe where.
So that things things that I have look bigger than they really are.
Oh,
What
you
some
don't
what
need
some
compensate
what
for
some
that.
what some people do with a sock.
Okay, so very disturbingly, Mr. T just kind of almost comically just pulls the front waistband of his underwear out to almost breaking proportions, and then just drops the bag of coins into it, and then just with a snap, the underwear kind of goes back into place, and he gets up and he kind of does a wiggle, and you can just hear this as he wiggles around, and probably, and correct me if I'm wrong, probably stretches so as to try and accentuate the now extra large bulge in the front of his underwear.
Is this how you mate
Correct.
on this island?
I mean,
Yes, this is
50
exactly how we mate. A girl gives gold pieces to a dwarf, and then the dwarf puts the gold pieces. Yes, that's exactly how we do it.
No.
I will
And then
not
I
be
whisper, and then
mated
I
in that
whisper to
way.
her
That
like,
is-
"Let me mess with him. Just let me mess with him."
Back on my island, we just show our big axe.
Ooh.
I look over at the two other females in the group and I tell them, please do remind me to never, ever take that gold again.
That was the plan all along.
As you are all kind of bickering like a bunch of siblings already, Kaya comes over and immediately just, oh dear, and turns right back around and just walks away. You see her very quickly go behind the counter, back to you, and seems to be cleaning some already cleaned mugs rather ferociously to try and avoid eye contact. And you also see the other few guests that were in here eventually catch sight of this dwarf who's basically probably hands behind the head, kind of just like wandering around. And they just kind of get up very quickly and excuse themselves, leaving gold coins on the table that Kaya clearly hears but is not willing to try and go grab them.
More gold.
Sonia says, "Can you be not such embarrassment?"
This is embarrassment. I find it humorous.
I am an army man. Man, do not recruit an army man if you don't want this kind of behavior. Just saying.
Perhaps we should leave.
Yeah.
Porthos agrees with that.
So we got a mission, right?
This land.
Yeah, off to go to the Golden Throne to meet Vakanga Otamu. Vatanga Otamu, so.
Yeah. Henrik, do you put clothes on?
Yes, of course. Of course, yes.
Okay, so Mr. T goes upstairs and he comes back downstairs fully geared up, like you remember him. Now, just a question.
I'm a
Mr.
fighter.
T.
I'm a fighter, by the way, for people watching. I'm a half dwarven fighter.
Does Mr. T leave the coin purse where it was, or did he remove the coin purse?
And
Should
did he get up the
should I
stairs
tell?
without
Should I tell?
falling down?
I put it somewhere in my backpack. Yes.
Okay, so
Somewhere where I can
Mr.
reach it, so I can pay people again, the way I do.
Mr. T's front looks less bulbous than it did before. And he comes down the stairs, and it seems you are all ready to leave Kaya's and head out into the greater city.
I grab my bottles of wine.
So you're double fisting 2 bottles of wine, or do you finish one before you walk out the door?
I finish the cheap one, and then I just take the remnants of the expensive one and kind of sip at it.
All right. Leaving Kaya's, you can already see that the city is in full swing. Smells of fresh blood come wafting through the air from the nearby Red Bazaar, and you can faintly hear the sounds of shouting merchants selling different cuts of dino meat. An acrid smell comes over the air as the wind shifts and begins blowing from a southerly direction off of the Bay of Chult. So where would you guys like to go?
Do we know where
Wherever
the
I can
Golden
find
Throne
better
is?
clothing. I'm wearing just
To your west, you know, is the Grand Souk, where you've been before. It's a huge three-pointed tent that holds just about anything a person would like to find. You do remember there being a specific kind of large palace on the hill that stood behind the Grand Souk or beside it that held. It was on a hill, and it was this large opulent palace. Perhaps there might be Golden Throne, or even if you wanted to just grab one of the commoners passing by, or even a cat-like humanoid minstrel coming along, strumming a lute. It seems to be a cat walking on 2 feet, and he uses his claws to very expertly pluck the lute and make a beautiful song out of it. What would you like to do?
Well, we should probably make our way to the palace. I would assume that this Wakanga is there.
I concur. I do want to meet this fellow.
Okay.
I ask one of the commoners and say, "Excuse me, is that the Golden Throne?" And I point at that palace.
The commoner just very quickly kind of just nods, and you can see that he was pushing a cart of some shaped stone, and he just kind of nods and kind of grunts at you in affirmation, and then just keeps pushing the cart along. You can tell that most people here are running about their daily business, so chances of having an extended conversation are probably next to nil, but you do seem to have gotten at least somewhat of an answer, if it may not have been words. At least
Okay.
you've got an affirmative grunt.
That's something.
All right.
I'm with whatever the cleric does, because I will just follow her.
Okay, so do you guys head off towards this palace on the hill?
Sin does.
Yeah.
All right. So as you guys pick your way through the city, you pick your way along the harbor district of the city. Again, you can see mostly triceratops and hadrosaurs pulling along little tugboats in canals that are cut into the harbor of the city here, and you can see that they are the engines that pull these barges full of cargo in and out of warehouses, almost like a modern day warehouse with the automated belts and everything, but just with dinosaurs pulling barges. And in fact, as you begin working your way through about halfway past this warehouse district, you can see off in the distance 2 large brontosaurus are stepping in time as they actually drag a ship out of the water onto a dry dock, and they seem to pull it with absolutely no difficulties whatsoever. You can tell that the Chultans here have definitely adapted to both the wilderness here and the creatures to use it to their advantage. And as a light rain begins to set over the city, rain seemingly becoming a very common thing, you actually see an additional ship beyond the kind of harbor, the greater harbor area, Courtney and Zaru. It's a single masted sloop that seems to be built for speed. And it's docked just outside of the main kind of harbor district. So perhaps maybe a ship that you could hire if you needed to move around the outside of Chult very quickly. As you move beyond the harbor district and past the Grand Souk and become moving around, wow, I can't speak right now, moving around to the base of this hill that the palace sits on, the smells and sounds of the Grand Souk fill your nose once again. You can hear all sorts of marketeers shouting all sorts of goods like insect repellent, canoes, Batiri or Grung artifacts, and all sorts of other things. And Morthos, I'm assuming that at this point, you've probably got your book out, or at least somewhat covered under your cloak, trying to write as much as you can while also not ruining the brand new book that you just bought.
Exactly. Because I learned for the first time.
When I see
Yes,
him
don't
doing
try and
this,
write in rain, my friend.
when I see him doing this, I take my shield and hold it up over his head so he can write without getting wet.
Thank you for that.
Remember,
All right.
water
I saw
is
how sad
wet.
you were yesterday when your other book got ruined.
Thank you.
You pick your way past the Grand Souk and actually find yourselves very close to the entrance to which you came into the city through the old city of Port Nyanzaru. Beyond the gate, you can see the tops of the 3 crumbling ancient stone ziggurats that are ordained with all sorts of, adorned with all sorts of different tents and canvases on all of their multi-terraced levels. You pick your way around to the western side of the hill that this palace stands on, and there you actually finally find a stairway seemingly leading up the hill towards the palace. You find your way up the steps, and you approach this opulent palace. And the first thing that catches your eye about this palace is that it is clearly a different architecture than all the others around you, which, Runa, I'm sure you find especially fascinating. It has glass windows and an open-air roof with silks hanging as coverings for the upper level. Yet another example of the opulence that most of this city seems to live by. As you approach the front gates, you see a guard of 12 Chelton warriors in full regalia of feathers and wielding what seems to be the favorite weapon of choice for most Cheltons you've seen throughout the city. It's a 3-foot-long wooden shaft with an 18-inch blade made of steel, stone, or obsidian. And they also have an oval-shaped shield made of stretched skin of some kind. One of them, who seems to wear a headdress marking captain, steps forward, and with a raise of his hand, he says, "Stop! In the name of the merchant prince, Wakanga Otamu, who resides at the palace on this day. Who comes, and on what business?"
I'll step forward, and Ven sort of gives a tiny, tiny, tiny little bow, like kind of just tilts her head, and says, "My name is Livin Claremont, and we are here to meet with Wakanga and Sindra Sylvain."
He eyes you for a second, and he says, "I will be back. Wait a moment." Doesn't take him very long. About 10, 15 minutes passes by, and he comes back, and he says, "The prince is busy at the moment. Wait here for 3 hours, and then you may attend him."
Well, what about Sindra Sylvain? Can we at least see her?
"I do not know this Sindra you speak of."
Very well.
So are you guys just going to sit in front of the golden throne and wait to ask?
I know that your time must be very valuable, but maybe you could go and find Sindra for us, and I hand him very underhand, basically, those 5 gold pieces.
Okay.
I would like to take those 3 hours. We have to wait for 3 hours, right?
Yes, you get the sense that all right, well, we have our first XP buy in the stream. So this is a new thing where you can earn XP and pay for certain things. And this one is, whoever has a drink, let's raise a glass to Exilium. Cheers.
Cheers!
Cheers.
It works.
It works. Okay.
My companion woke up, so she's saying cheers too, by the way.
Excellent. The guard does take your money, Runa, and he wanders off into the golden. And after about an hour of waiting impatiently and just beginning to think, well, maybe we should go do something while we wait, you are approached by what appears to be a very, very, very old Chelton male, bent almost double. You're not sure if it's from his age or just from the sheer amount of cloth he has draped all over his body. As he approaches, he holds out a cup, and with a strange wheeze, he says, "Please, alms for a dying man, please."
I give him a sack of 50 gold pieces.
Death should not be afraid. You should not be begging.
Okay, he takes the coin purse in his hand, putting away the cup, and you almost see his bent over body kind of bend even more from the weight of this 50 gold. And he actually drops it, and he says, "Oh, that's way too heavy for me. I only need a copper or two. I'm not much long for this world."
How far along do you think you have until you perish?
Not long, not long.
Blijf.
I was honestly thinking of perhaps committing a crime, and then I'd end up in executioner's run. At least then I could go out in a blaze of glory. Yes, like I was when I was youthful. Yes, yes.
I am the wrong person to be telling that to, because I will not allow you to do that.
And you really should not seek death. At the moment, it's not wise, because your soul will not be able to go on.
You can't stop a man from running executioner's run. You'd be thrown in there yourself by the A man who commits a crime has to run.
I can help you with committing a crime, by the way. I need a dinosaur.
No, he can't.
You need a dinosaur, eh? Ifan Tauroa's the man you want to talk to about that. He's the merchant prince in charge of all the beasts in Port Nianzaro.
Yeah, but you're looking to commit a crime, so get me a dinosaur.
Perhaps, he says. Now tell me, my new friend, what has brought you up here?
Can I make an insight check to see if he's really a beggar?
Sure.
Do you require
First roll on the stream.
I rolled a 19, so that's 25. Someone who lets drop 50 gold pieces is just not kosher.
All right. You get the sense, Runa, that perhaps this old man is indeed hiding something from you. You're not sure what it is. He is very clearly an old man, at least to you. But you get the sense that there is some deception there. There is some deception in his voice. And he says, "Ask an old man anything you want. I'll tell you anything. This city, I know every back alley and every scum that rules it."
Where's Sindra Sylvain at?
Oh, I don't know no Sindra Cillian, or whatever you just said.
Do you know how we can get an audience with Wakanga Otamu in a timely manner?
Sorry.
Breathe.
You need a drink?
You clearly don't understand how things are done here. You don't ever get an audience with a prince that easy. They make you wait, you know, as a sign of power.
What are you doing here in the palace?
He says, I'm not in the palace, I'm outside the palace. Look, the palace is right there, and I'm standing right here. And I can walk wherever I damn well please. I'm old enough.
Speaking of you being old enough, what were you like in your youth, as you said that you were something when you were youthful?
He says, oh, I was a great warrior. Some say I almost could have fought Na Mboso himself. But once I was out in the jungle and a grung spear pierced me in the knee. And I have never been the same ever since.
So you used to be an adventurer, then you took a spear to the knee.
Yes, I suppose you could say that.
A grung spear? Is it like a pike?
Well, no, it's just a spear, dear. Just
What's a grung?
poison tipped. Oh, grung are evil. They come out of nowhere with no warning and shower and rain death on you from above. They are small frog creatures. Small little humanoids. Be wary of them. They come in different colors, and they come when you least expect it. To take away all your children and your riches.
I just gave away my riches and I have no children, so.
He says, oh, yes. About that.
My wife died.
He kind of reaches down and he kind of... Perhaps I'll just take 1 or 2 coins. And he actually opens up the bag, not capable of lifting it on his own, and actually just grabs out like 4 gold coins and with a clink drops each one into his own cup. And he says, "Well, tell you, just being here to see silly Sylvanus or whoever you just said, what brings you to Chult? You are not from here. You seem from distant lands. Especially you, the big hulking one. You're quite pale, although it makes your tattoos stick out. Maybe that's why your skin is so pale, huh? Good tattooing skin."
We just don't have the sun very much from where I'm from.
Well, you'll be looking like an Aldani before the sun here is done with you.
As long as it doesn't cover up these tattoos, I shall be fine.
No, but it might make you peel. I've seen some foreigners like you. They go out in the jungle one day, and they come back looking as red as a cooked lobster. And then they begin to peel, like those nasty snakes in the jungle. Disgusting.
What is this lobster you speak of?
What? You've never had a lobster?
I cannot say that I have. I am not from this island.
Oh. Well, perhaps if you meet the merchant prince Wakanga, perhaps you may end up feasting with it. Although I doubt it, he says.
Well, my friend, I will definitely try and enjoy that fine cuisine, or pick it up and hold it and see it as it is.
He says, yes, yes. Now, one final question from an old man, if you'll humor me. What have you heard of this Wakanga Otamu? As outsiders, what do you know of the prince himself?
That he's a powerful man, he's a merchant prince, and he's the friend of our employer, Sindra Sylvain.
Yes, very powerful. Super princely.
He
What she
finally
said.
he finally seems to catch notice of you then, and for the first time gets a really good look at you. And he
You
goes,
thought I was pale.
"My God, you look almost more dead than I am.
How rude.
I'm old. I have nothing else to live for. If you don't like it, kill me, he says.
I will not give you that honor.
Honor?
There is
Death
no
is the
honor.
greatest honor.
I disagree.
He says, well, I best be off then to gather more money. And with a step, he steps right over the coin purse that you dropped on the ground. Poor choice of words for that particular bag of gold. But he steps right over it and actually pushes his way past all of you. And as he pushes your way past and you kind of just turn your backs to him, all of a sudden you hear a voice behind you say, my friend. As you turn around, with a flourish of his hands, the illusion that was before you fades, and standing before you is a middle-aged Chultan man with a short beard that ends in 3 bearded braids coming off of the chin. Beaded braids, coming off of the chin. He wears a fine silk wrapping around his head, perhaps for the heat, and has huge bands of gold as necklaces around his neck. Gold earrings adorn both ears and rings on almost every finger. He wears traditional Chultan wear, light, loose clothing that breathes easily. His is a deep blue that almost seems to shimmer as it moves, and as he kind of stands up and reaches his full height, he says with a smile, I am Wakanga Otamu, merchant prince of Port Nyanzaru. Come with me, my new friend. Let us retreat from this heat to my villa, where we can eat and discuss your business here further.
I take the gold that was on the ground.
I was about to do that.
Are you sure you want to
And
touch
both
that
of you
gold?
need to roll a dex check.
No, I'll just if he wants to take it, I mean take it. It's just gold.
Okay, just so you know for your records, Morthos, there is exactly 43 gold in the bag.
And I just politely ask for my gold back, please.
I hand you back 3.
That's not my gold. I need all of my gold back. I gave it to the old man. He didn't take it. I was about to pick it up.
Well, finders keepers. It was on the floor.
Okay,
Please don't bicker about money. Money
Okay,
is
just
not a thing to worry about.
just watch your back from now on then.
Wakanga
A pleasure
says,
to meet you. Say,
come, let's not fight. I have more gold, if that is what you seek. But
No,
let's
I want
go.
my gold.
And he takes you south down the kind of southeasterly bridge that comes off of Throne Hill. Now, there are 2 bridges that come off of Throne Hill. The one to the southeast, you remember upon first entering Port Nyanzaru, leads to almost the edge of the city where you had seen a number of opulent villas up on the hillside. The opposite bridge to you that you are not taking leads to another hill where stands the temple that has the large domed painted roof to look like an eye staring up. Conga passes you all and begins leading you to this bridge, and he points out a number of things, one of which most notably is the statue at the center of the harbor, representing an ancient Chultan king in full regalia, resplendent in a loincloth of leopard skin and a headdress of feathers, shells, and huge carnivore's teeth, draped in a cape of Girlon fur and monkey tails, and wielding the traditional oval shield and short spear. He says, that is Natamboso, the great king. And as you continue on, unless you have any questions, you will very quickly arrive at Wakanga's villa, which is one of 3 villas on this hill, both a palace and fortress, Each villa is ringed by walls 12 feet high, and the tops of which are adorned with dinosaur teeth, broken glass, and slivered seashells. Wakanga leads you to the middle of it and walks in, leading the way. You come to double doors that Wakanga quickly pushes through and leads you inside. Around you are sconces that have a flame that seem to hover above the sconce rather than actually be burning in it. A soft music reaches your ears as if coming from the courtyard itself that you're standing in. Wakanga says, "Please, refresh yourselves in the washroom to your left. It has running clean water if you'd like to wash up before we eat."
That would be amazing.
Yes.
Ditto.
I approach the guy who took my gold and I say, "Hey, smell my coin sack."
No, no,
Sid
no.
looks very disgusted as, why would anybody want to smell that?
Just smell what you stole from me, man. Just smell it. Just smell it.
Tell you what. I'll strike you a deal. If you beat me at 3 Dragon Ante, I'll hand you all your gold back.
I strike you if you don't give me my gold back.
3 Dragon Ante, fair gambler's game. We'll play.
Okay, whatever. I'll kick your ass if I lose, so...
I may have to watch this.
Do you have a deck
Go,
of 3
Roshan.
Dragon Ante, Morthos?
I do, actually.
Oh, okay. So you begin playing this game of 3 Dragon Ante. For the sake of the story, I'll just have you both roll.
Can I give my friend guidance?
Sure, if you'd like.
I will do that. I will do it covertly.
I'll have you make an intelligence check, basically. We'll just
What
boil
does
it right
what
down
does guidance do?
to solid
It's like
intelligence.
bless. You get a D4 on top of your ability or skill check.
I'm also proficient in it, so add my normal proficiency bonus to it. Okay.
Yep.
I've got a -1 plus 1d4. Ah! I rolled.
Those two
I
ones.
rolled 2 in total. 2 with guidance.
I rolled, what's my proficiency? 7 total.
I'm just looking at this game like, what is this?
Okay, so to any outsider watching this game of 3 Dragon Ante, it's like watching a person try and explain D&D to a 6-year-old. The game just gets so lost, and Morthos spends more time trying to explain how to play to Mr. T than actually playing the game. Mr. T, a number of times you get frustrated because this is nothing like the Dwarven games that you've played, and this is a stupid game with stupid cards, and your game's stupid, and I hate it. And in the end, Morthos does win. So whatever wants to come out of that.
I just tell him that I won't be having his back until I get my money back.
Don't worry, I will have everyone's back here, no matter what happens.
Next time, we'll double it up.
All right.
And I thank the cleric for like I silently
really
thank the
help.
cleric for trying to help me out there. I was just too stupid for your magic.
Yeah, it's not Callum's domain to help people gamble, so there's that.
After Wakanga sees that you have all kind of washed up or done what you need to do, he bids you to follow him, and you pass under a grand double staircase leading up into what you assume are the more private rooms of the villa. But you've passed under this staircase towards the back of the building on the first floor. You pass through yet another set of double doors. Inside is a beautiful jungle wood table set very low into the floor. Surrounding it is the largest number of pillows any of you have ever seen in one place, including you, then. Wakanga moves to the head of the table where the more lavish pillows lay, and he just sprawls out on a beautiful spread of fruits, salted and cooked meat and fish, tej, ale, and fine wine lies before. Wakanga says, "Please, sit, enjoy yourselves. From what little I know of you so far, I have a feeling that you are not long in the city, plan to go to the jungle, which I recommend you might want to think about getting a guide before doing so."
Do you have any suggestions for a guide?
Says, "Well, Jobal, another merchant prince in the city, he runs the guide trade. All guides by law must pay him a fee to properly guide in children. However, there have been known to be guides that operate outside the law. They reside on the outer districts of the city, Old Balar's Throat, Tariki Anchorage. But I recommend, don't want to piss off Jobal, don't hire one of them."
So do we have to go through Jobal to get a guide from him, or do the guides themselves handle that?
No, the guides themselves handle that. The only problem is Jobal's price is quite steep.
Fair enough.
What do we need in terms of gear when we are traveling around the city, like outside of the city?
He says, "Well, I definitely recommend a rain catcher. Find them at any of Akini Afa's stores in the Grand Souk. This will help you gather fresh water. The rivers have long since been tainted. Water is not fit for drinking. Dehydration is known to have been a problem to many other groups that have gone out in the past. Also, insect repellent is probably a good idea. But other than that, anything that will keep you alive is suggested."
What are warriors wearing here in form of heavy armor? Is there something that's more fitting to the climate than this?
He says, "Yes, that kind of armor is quite rare here. We usually prefer light leather that breathes well. That is why the shield my warriors, all warriors, wield is light, fast. And that is why the Yakilwa is the preferred weapon of choice." Light and fast for running from large predators.
As you can see, I wear minimal. I wear hide. So I guess I will keep this rain catcher, but I will leave it at that.
Don't worry, guys. If we have to run from a predator, you don't have to outrun the predator. You just have to outrun the dwarf.
Sad, but indeed true.
As if we would leave you behind.
No, I would just be running way behind you
pick you up.
guys.
Don't worry, my friend. I will pick you up. I will cradle you like a child.
That's sweet of you. You're way sweeter than this other guy who just stole my money.
I've been tend to be told that.
I'm gonna have your back.
Thank you, my trusted fellow.
Wakanga just watches passing.
Anyway, now that these two are done with whatever it is, have you heard anything from Sindra Sylvain?
Yes, she is here. She is resting. I have given her my personal quarter, that she may try and fight this curse that so deeply ails.
Do you know anything about the curse or the soulmonger?
Never heard of soul. But I have a hard time believing that Chult has anything to do with this curse.
Okay.
Our land is rich, full of ancient culture, and we have always been accepting, loving of people. It must be something from the outside come here, if indeed it is something here that is affecting.
I mean, it's supposed to be a necromantic artifact, and there were quite a great deal of undead coming out of the jungle when we reached the city gates, so
Yes. Those attacks have been happening more frequently lately. I have been wondering if this is. Perhaps it is to do with this soulmonger, because this artifact. This is why you seek to go into the jungle, find this thing, and you have no idea where to begin.
We're walking in blind.
Just the way I like it.
As long as I have my axe, I am ready for anything that comes.
And as long as we have his axe, we are ready too.
Aye.
He says, one thing you will learn, my friend. Chult, always unexpected.
I live for the unexpected.
Perhaps you will succeed where others have not.
Have you heard any rumors recently of necromancers in the area?
There have been a few rumors of strange magical eruption casting being seen in the Aldani Basin. And it is said that the heart of Ubtao bleeds once again. But these are only common rumors, nothing to be paid attention to.
what is the heart of Uptau?
It is a strange place, strange thing. It is a floating chunk of rock, 100 feet above the surface. Sits, floats around the Aldani Basin, loosely shaped like a heart. And for the longest time, priests of Mesro and Umbala used to travel there, worship Ubtao, Chultan god. But that is a long time ago, back before Tao left us.
Your god left you?
Yes. There was a great city once that stood. Its name is lost to me. But it stood as a bastion, Chultan civilization. People would travel from all across the world, come and see this wondrous place. But fortunately, power and riches of the place corrupted the people of it. Because of this, Ubtao left us, turned his back on the land. That why many people believe Mesro fell under the tyrannical armies of Razi.
This is why I'm glad I follow the deity of Talos. He does not leave.
I have heard of these Talos. Many pirates worship this god.
That they do.
You a pirate
Far from.
is good. Our harbor master would be having words with you at work.
I do not appreciate piracy. It is a deity that everyone on my island, especially old, ancient islanders of my land, worship.
I can respect ancient tradition. It has been too long since we attempted to bring our people's traditions back. The outside world consistently pushes against us like an ongoing wave against the beach. It seeks to destroy everything that is Chalton.
Well, hopefully we can restore tradition.
Yes. Perhaps one day Chult may have royalty once again, rule out of the great city of Meslo.
So you're saying many of your greatest cities have been destroyed or left
Fort
behind in the
Nianzaru
jungle?
is the only one left standing.
Okay. So in the jungle there are ruins of these ancient cities, basically, yes?
There are many, many ruins. That is why things and companies like the Flaming Fist and the Order of the Gauntlet are here. Each have their own purpose. The Order of the Gauntlet seeks to rid this island of its undead hope entirely, where the Flaming Fist are treasure hunt. They sully the ground they walk on and steal ancient treasures, sell in faraway lands.
Is there somewhere where you can read up on the history of those cities? So we might find out if that artifact is somewhere hidden there?
Conger kind of shakes his head, and you actually see for the first time, you see a genuine sadness come over his face as he says, I have seeked the very books that you see. I have looked for years, sent many adventurers just like you in seek out, and yet they have not come back. The histories of each city were unfortunately kept in each city. When they fell, the record proved that most of the names of the city histories have been forgotten by the
So, when are we leaving?
All right. As you sit around awkwardly, kind of thinking about your next plan and kind of taking in everything, all of a sudden a distant horn pierces your relaxation. It's a shrill horn, not like the one that you heard the first time you arrived, but a different one. But it still blasts 3 long blasts. Wakanga sighs and says, see what I mean? These undead attacks have been growing more frequent as of late. But the guards will take care of it. He sits back. Not 2 minutes later, the doors to the dining room are flung open, and one of Wakanga's guards, a little short of breath, comes storming in. Apologies, my prince, but the guard has been overrun by undead in Melas Throat, and a number of people are trapped in the temple of Temora. What is your command? Wakanga turns to you and says, my friends, I hate to ask this of you, but could you put yourself in danger?
I'm
for
already
this great-
running. I'm already
Same
running.
here.
Sin grabs
On
his
my
axe
way.
and goes, "Oh, let's fight!"
In the doorway, I stop and where is the temple of Timora? And then
He says, it is in Mela's throat, the valley with all of the rope bridges.
I
Quick.
point at the guard. Hey, you! Lead us there.
Okay. He will indeed lead you there. So you head across the bridge, passing by Golden Throne, running past the Grand Souk, and you almost get nearby the Red Bazaar, but then take right and begin heading out towards Malar's Throat, which is actually just outside the city. A mass of people are actually pouring through the gates as you approach, as a group of guards actually fight back against them, lashing out with the butt ends of their short spears so that they can attempt to close the gate. You can see about 5 on each side, just trying to almost forcibly push these gates closed, and so by locking out anybody who hasn't gotten into the city.
So are there undead already storming those gates? Are the
You
guards
don't
pushing-
necessarily see any undead. It just seems as if this is the precautionary thing. When the outside of the city gets overrun, you either make it into the city or you don't.
I try to, at the last second or something, go through that door and just running. Where are they? Where are they? And just run through the door.
Okay, do the rest of you attempt to follow?
I'm running at full
Yes.
sprint with him.
Then I'm
Okay,
running
so all
probably
of
as
you-
the last guy.
As you scream that, I pick you up and I say, "Let's charge into battle."
My man.
All right, so together running out, you slip just through the gates as the last few people are beaten back by the spears, and the gates kind of close with a dull thud behind you. Any chance of escape now completely blocked off.
Can I ready an action? As soon as I see
Go
as soon
ahead.
as I see the first undead, I'm going to cast Bless.
Okay. As you move through the steep valley that is Malar's Throat, the number of rope bridges spanning overhead, creating almost a spider web-like look if you were to just look straight up at this moment. You know from seeing this before that these bridges are almost as high as 100 feet to 20 feet off the ground. And even now, at this very moment, you hear a crack as ropes snap, and you see a number of undead and living people fall to their death from 100 feet in the air off of one of these rope bridges. The steep valley that is Malar's Throat is complete chaos. People still run everywhere screaming as zombies and skeletons seek them out. Not far from you, a group of guards fight a losing battle with more zombies and skeletons. And at this point, Runa, you can cast Bless.
I cast Bless on the Paladin, on Sin, and Mr. T.
All right, so just especially for the Paladin, remind Daniel, bless that.
Bless gives you the ability to roll 1d4. That's the pointy dice. Every time you roll a saving throw or an ability check or an attack, basically. Just add that to...
Basically, almost always when you roll a d20.
All right, so as your bless goes off, Runa, the kind of golden shimmering light kind of land on their shoulders and seem to almost fuse with their very bodies. And you feel almost a slight warmth knowing that you've extended this protection upon your friends. Now, looking back at the guards fighting this losing battle, you see that they seem to be almost, the zombies and skeletons seem to almost be led by this gaunt humanoid with faded, emaciated blue skin and elongated arms that end in these huge, long, curving claws. And they seem to be reaching the temple with the symbol of Tamora on the front, which you know has people hiding inside. A disgusting scent begins to fill your nose, just a mixture of rot and death. Very quickly, the undead overwhelm any guards left at the steps of this temple. The creature with the long arms and claws turns its head and focuses on the party. Its mouth opens and a disturbingly long tongue comes out. And with a snarl of it seems to direct the other undead to attack. Everyone, roll initiative.
Does blast count towards initiative?
No, I believe not.
As he sticks his tongue out and he attracts the rest of the
Natural
horde.
20.
Go
As he
ahead,
sticks
Sid.
his tongue out and attracts the other horde, I scream out, "How dare you cheat death!" And I fury into a rage, and I go, "For my axe, you will refall."
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so starting with Runa, what'd you get for your initiative?
I have 0 initiative, so it's just 20. But
That's
hey,
the 20. Okay, and then Tony, what'd you get?
I
For
got
Sin, I
14
should
plus
say.
2, so 16.
16 for Sin, and Morthos?
6.
Selenia.
5.
Ven?
6.
You and Morthos are going either at the same time or whoever's dexterity is faster. And Henrik is missing, so I cannot get his initiative from him, but I will roll the initiative for the undead. They got a 9.
I'm back in like 30 seconds. I rolled a 12, by the way.
Okay. And by the way, for all those people who are watching, I believe with the first natural 20 comes a bit of XP for everybody viewing. Well done, Runa, for giving our viewers a little bit of XP with the first natural 20 of the game.
Yeah,
Now.
good job. You make them do bad things to us.
No. The viewers will, I'm sure. Now, at the top of the round, it is Runa, the cleric, who stands before these undead. Now, just to give you an idea, we'll assume for now that the entire mass of them are at 20 feet away from you. There are in total 6 zombies, 6 skeletons, and this pale, gaunt, blue humanoid figure.
how close are they?
And look at this, Ven. Our first viewer has been nice enough to grant advantage on the next roll. So, Runa, you now have advantage on your next roll, whatever it may be. Thanks,
Okay.
Exilium, for the advantage.
Thanks, Rennie. How close are those undead? Am I in range for turn undead?
You are 20 feet away from them, so I believe yes.
Yeah. So I present my holy symbol, and every undead within 30 feet of me must make a wisdom saving throw. As I say, "By Calimbor, be gone, foul creatures!"
All right. So
Which
wisdom
sounds
saving-
amazing with a German accent.
Yes, it does. It really does. All right. So the zombies actually rolled another a nat 20 with a -2. That's an 18 to their saves.
As I didn't
so
have
they-
to roll anything, so I couldn't use the advantage. Can I give them disadvantage?
I will allow it. I'll allow it. Okay, so they will roll again, getting a 6 this time at a -2. That's a 4 for the save. So the zombies fail the save. However, the other 2 groups of rolls are going to be just at regular. So the skeletons, I'm just rolling group saves just to save some time in combat. Otherwise, you guys would be waiting forever. The skeletons rolled a wisdom save of 5 with a -1, means 4. So they too fail all of their saves. And finally, the gaunt humanoid, the only one left not turned at this moment, who rolls a 3 on his wisdom saving throw. So with a cry and a shout, you see the human cleric step forward. Your holy symbol's on your shield, right? Okay. With a cry, she raises her shield and shouts her prayer to Kelimvor, and immediately this radiating blast of energy comes off of her and just immediately shrouds all of the undead. You see a pale white light begin to erupt out of the undead's eyes, and with a shriek and a cry, all 13 of them turn tail and run off into the jungle. Now, as we are out of initiative now, because Cleric just eliminated everything, you see that the area of Malar's throat is still very much in chaos. Pockets of undead are everywhere, seemingly ripping into what may be the remains of humans and dinosaurs. You can see actually a small girl running on a rope bridge about 20 feet above you and away from you. So kind of on the angle at about, 30, 40 feet from you. And you can see that there is actually one of those gaunt, pale blue humanoids chasing her with its tongue kind of almost creepily like licking the back of her head.
I want to throw an axe at that guy.
How far away?
I want to throw an
How
axe.
far is he from us?
He's probably about 35 feet. Now we'll stay in the same initiative. So Sin, you're up next.
Is there a way I can possibly throw Mr. T so he can get a better, closer range to hit him?
In answer to that question, I need to know how much Mr. T weighs and what. And I have your strength. What do you weigh, Mr. T?
I weigh 1 kilogram.
Oh, okay.
I weigh the exact same thing as a baseball, and I'm as big as a baseball.
All right.
No, I don't know.
I will say roll a strength check, Sin.
Okay.
Can I like line myself up to aid him, to give him advantage, like be like
I do?
I put my swords so I'm front heavy like a dart.
I am in range, so I do get advantage on my strength checks.
Then there you go.
I did get a 17.
All right, 17 total.
Yeah, I got a 1 and a 17, but my advantage gave me the 17.
Excellent.
And I'm gonna lob him at the creature chasing the little girl.
Okay, so Mr. T, as you go to pull back your axe to throw it at this undead creature chasing this little girl, all of a sudden you feel two strong hands grip you at the belt and at the back of your collar. And Sin just whips around in a 360 and throws you like a hammer throw. You go flying through the air up in this bridge, and for a split second, you honestly are terrified that he overthrew you, that you're just going to fly right over this creature and land on your ass on the other side. But luck is on your side. It seems that rescuing the people in the Temple of Tamora, Lady Luck has shined on you enough that the weight of your dwarven armor carries you just enough that it is now your turn for you to make a strike at this creature.
I use my action surge to strike twice.
You cut out there.
I use my action surge to strike twice.
Okay.
I'm still blessed, right?
Yes, you are still blessed.
I've got this is a 19, and this one is a 15. A 19 and a 15.
Okay, for your two attacks, for your two actions, essentially. All right, they will both hit. So deal me some damage.
I can re-roll both two of my dice. So I've got an 8. I've got a 14. Wow. I've actually do 25 points of damage.
Holy shit. Okay, so as you come
plus 6. Yeah.
Very nice. As you come flying through the air, Mr. T, with a cry to your god, you actually unleash a devastating undercut blow with your axe that actually, just as the creature is reaching out the
Well,
claws,
it was actually
towards-
I actually have I actually have a great sword as a weapon. I
great
didn't.
sword.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
excuse me. Your sword slices into this creature's hand as it almost reaches out and clasps onto the little girl's hair, completely severing the hand. And with a gross spurt of black blood, it kind of showers the back of this little girl as she continues to run. You land in front of the creature. Its long tongue comes out at you as it snarls and kind of, and you, just without another look, just kind of swing your sword with a flourish and just jam it right up underneath the chin and right out the top of the head of this creature. Now, the creepy thing is, you don't kill it. It is still impaled currently on your sword and just kind of clawing at you and tonguing at you as its black blood kind of sprays down the blade at you. Next up in the initiative round is this creature. It is going to make a claw attack, but at disadvantage because it is currently impaled upon your sword. Its claw attack definitely goes wide, as you kind of can essentially control this creature just by moving your sword, and unfortunately it has to go with the movements of your sword. So you just kind of see the claw coming and just go, nope! And next in initiative is either Morthos or Ven, whoever would like to go next.
I'll go. I'm gonna magic missile that creature.
Okay. That is just straight 3d4 plus 3, 1d4 per dart.
That'll be 10 damage.
Okay, so Mr. T, as you're holding this creature at bay, all of a sudden you hear almost the sound of fireworks, maybe, from down below, and you just see these 3 magical glowing darts come and stab into the creature's head and then explode, leaving no head on this creature. Your sword now free, and the body just slumps down onto the rope bridge. Now, Morthos, as you're kind of taking stock of what's around you, and Selenia, you as well are kind of taking stock of what's around you and seeing if there's anything else that you guys can kill and demolish in a flurry of blows. Not as a monk, but you look around and you can actually see 5 of these gaunt humanoids coming towards you. 4 get demolished as the guards seem to have gotten themselves back together as a forming group, and they actually use a log rolling down the steep valley of Malar's throat to decimate 4 of these creatures, almost comically. As they run towards you, the straggling 4 just kind of get taken out by this rolling log. And the last one seems to be charging right for you, Morthos. Now, as it charges right for you, 2 arrows come out of nowhere and hit this creature, both arrows dead in the eyes. And with a flurry, a figure comes flying off of a roof nearby, landing with cat-like grace in a 3-point superhero landing. As she lowers her hood, you can see that it is a Chultan female. Her hair streaked to almost be that of tiger's colors, and short dreadlocks tied back in a thick ponytail. Without another word, she draws a scimitar from her belt and immediately just stabs it directly into this creature, killing it and ripping its guts out. However, another one of these creatures pops out from the side building and charges at you again, Morthos. The person now that is assisting you, no longer in the way of this creature, and it's coming directly at you. What do you do?
Okay, I will go ahead and cast Eldritch Blast.
All right. You actually have advantage on this Eldritch Blast, thanks to another one of our viewers, Jeff the Mind Reading Dog.
Thank you, Jeff.
I know that guy. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. By the way, he just texted me that this is an amazing, cool stream. And when he says that, he means it.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeff the Mind Reading Dog.
That is a 17.
A 17. Okay, that does hit this creature as a whirring ball of force kind of coalesces in your hand. You unleash it in kind of a beam that just hits this creature. What's your damage? Oh
I was
no,
rolling
dice.
off the table. 10 total.
10 total. Okay. Oh, this kind of force hits this creature, and you hear a sickening crunch as the creature's shoulder dislocates. But with a snarl and kind of this gross smile, it just whips its shoulder, and you see the limp noodle arm with enough momentum slams the shoulder back into place, and it continues coming at you. Selenia, you are up.
You have bless.
And you have bless. Always remember that. So add a d4 to whatever d20 roll you roll.
Okay. So where am I? To any of the enemies?
There is only one enemy left 10 feet away from Morthos, and you're like 5 feet, like shoulder to shoulder with Morthos, basically.
Oh, okay. Well, right now she's holding her spear, both hands. I guess I'm gonna attack the creature, and then I'm gonna use Thunderous Might with it.
Okay, now remember with Smite, you actually don't have to engage your Smite until after you've already hit the creature. So first, roll for your attack.
Okay. I use the
d20. Yep, you got it.
$19. And then
Add your modifiers.
Here. Two-handed 8. Ah, shoot. Where'd it go? It's a 5 plus 3, 8.
Okay, so now because you hit, now you can activate your Thunderous Smite. So on top of this hit, on top of that 8, you are going to deal an extra 2d6, so 2 square die rolls, thunder damage. And make sure you take away a spell slot for activating your Smite.
Okay. 2. 1, 3.
So 3 on top of your 8.
Yeah.
So
11.
You see as this beautiful ASMR drops her shield, grabs the spear in both hands, steps in front of you, Morthos, and without another word, just unleashes this fearsome jab into the creature. As the spearhead pierces the sternum of this creature, an amazing loud boom just echoes all up and down this valley and kind of seems to reverberate in the steep confines of this valley. You see the creature just get hit with almost as if it's visibly hit by the sound, and it gets launched 10 feet away into a nearby wall, and with a sickening crunch doesn't get back up. You guys have all successfully managed to defend Malar's throat. As you take stock of your surroundings, you can see any other remaining undead are being put down by the guards, their bodies now being burnt with torches, and you are out of initiative. Well done.
If there's anybody watching who knows how I can select one frame in Discord. We're doing this in Discord, by the way, to be bigger than the other one because now one of the players is bigger and people are asking to put the DM, the Dungeon Master, on that spot. Just saying, I got some friends who are texting me like, it's really great stream, but there's one guy who is bigger and it should be the DM. I don't know how I can do that. If I can do that, I don't know.
All right, one of my mods perhaps message Henrik, see if you can run him through that. In the meantime, the only figure closest to you is this female that seemingly came out of nowhere and fought with you. She is currently cleaning off her curved scimitar on the dead body of this creature. What do you do?
Thanks for the help.
She
That
just
was
turns,
amazing.
nods. And what did you say? Sorry, Runa?
It's amazing.
She says, "It is what I do.
And you do
I am Azaka Stormfang. If you need a guide to get you through the jungle alive, look no further. See, I was born in the jungle. I know its dangers well and how best to avoid them. Should you employ my services, you may rest assured, as you can see, that your party is in safe hands. I charge 5 gold coins per day and require a 30-day payment up front. However, if you would be willing to aid me on a personal quest, I will waive my fee entirely and guide you to places no one else has found."
No. This guy is paying, and I point towards the guy that stole my money earlier. It's no problem. He will pay. He's got money enough. You should smell his coin sack, by the way.
I like the idea of doing a favor for you.
She says, "Yes, this quest will take us to Firefinger. It is a great stone spire with an ever-burning fire on top that lies 6 days up the river Tariki by canoe. The evil Terra folk that roost atop Firefinger stole a wooden mask from me, and I want it back."
I think it would be a good idea to assist you on this quest. Because none of us have that amount of gold.
Right.
You have
So how much gold do we actually need to pay this guy?
150.
150.
I've got 160 on me right now, so I can pay this guy right now, and we can get through with it. Just saying, I got 160 left, and 43 more, but that's the other guy has it, but I still have 155. No, 160. Yes, I got 160 left.
Where
So
on
say
earth
you
did
guys
get that
you
much
guys
gold?
pay for my next meal in the next tavern, and I'll just do this one. I'll just let him guide us. I'll just pay him.
I look him up and down, and I'm wondering where he hid that big coin purse.
I rolled. I
do not want to know.
rolled for my gold, and I rolled very high for my gold, so I got a lot of gold to start with.
So, are you paying Azaka, or are you going with
I'm
her quest?
I'm actually just saying this to the group that I'm willing to spend all my gold on this guy just to get through with the mission.
Is it because I threw you, and I threw you in a great precision?
Yeah, sure, yeah, and then I fist bump you. I've also fist bumped the cleric for blessing us, because everything led to me stabbing that creature.
Well, if you're willing to pay, then I suppose we should do this.
It's side quests or not to side quests.
I mean,
I love side quests.
Side quest. I mean, come on.
and we don't know where in the jungle the soulmonger is hidden.
Exactly.
So maybe
Yes,
we
that's
can
why I'm
find
paying this
out
guide.
Some hints.
The guide doesn't know where it is. They're just going to lead us through the jungle.
Okay.
Or do you know what the soulmonger is, I ask Asaka. Heard of them?
No, I've never heard of such a thing. Sounds dangerous. Is this what you seek?
Yes, absolutely.
I will assist in any way I can. But I must tell you now, I do not do heights.
You don't do what?
Heights. Deathly terrified of high places.
Okay. As we
Wait,
have no
can you
idea
jump off
where it
a roof?
is.
Then I think your price is very high.
She says, a roof is fine. You see, I always have a way of landing on my feet.
And when you don't, you get 8 lives left, right?
She laughs and actually says, exactly. She says, so, am I being paid or are you coming along on a quest?
I'm already counting gold pieces, by the
Quest.
way.
The quest.
I say we go along with the quest.
Hmm.
Says,
In hopes of finding more hints.
I guess majority rules. I feel this will go a lot better if you have company. So tell me, what supplies do you have to go into the jungle?
Nothing, because we
Not much.
definitely need the ring catcher and insect
Insect
repellent.
repellent? Yes.
I definitely recommend that you do not want to be getting the diseases that come from this land. Very, very bad.
And someone told us about poisonous frog creatures or something. So maybe you should get something like anti-venom or...
I mean, isn't that what we have a paladin for?
She says, there is a fruit that grows that can eliminate poison, and also a root known to eliminate poison as well that grows out in the jungle. Should we come across it, I will show it to you.
Oh, that's good.
This will indeed help with the ground. They are treacherous creatures.
Well, I wear nothing but hide, so I will definitely need things to cover things up in the forest.
Shopping?
She says, well, when we find some wild root, I shall let you know. And yes, she will walk with you back towards the city proper. You see now that the gates are being reopened. And weirdly enough, as panicked as everything was, it's almost creepily gone back to being calm. It seems like the people are generally just like, well, the undead attacked again. I guess we had to run. It's it's become such a common occurrence. You can see in the eyes of the people that they just return to what they were doing, go about their daily lives. Nothing ever happened.
Well, this is strange.
I ask our guide, where are those undead coming from and why don't you go out and kill them all? So they don't attack the city.
She says, well, we don't know exactly where they are. But as for going into the jungle to eliminate them all, there are many worse undead things out there than what you hear. Should you try and go after things like that, it would be an impressive feat if you came back.
Oh, we'll come back. That's a promise.
He says, well, I hope to help you come back. And she kind of nudges you a little bit thin and kind of a playful kind of shoulder nudge. And you actually do note that there is quite a bit of strength behind that nudge. Not, you wouldn't expect it from a figure so lithe and slim as Azaka. She seems to have a strength that belies her figure.
Well-
She leads you over to the Grand Souk, and should you wish to purchase things just to get things out of the way, a canoe is 50 gold. Now it only holds 6 people, so to have all of you go with all of your supplies, you would need to purchase at least 2. Arrange.
So
Can I get a special price for 2 canoe, please?
Do we need a
she
canoe?
will let us, skip the whole, fees for hiring her in exchange that we pay for all the necessities of her quest.
Yep.
And do we need canoes?
Azaka says, yes, it is much faster than going through the jungle and easier to navigate as well. By river, down the river Tariki, we should expect to arrive at Firefinger within 6 days. But if we were to go by land, it would be double that.
And you know how to steer one of those things, right?
A canoe?
I
Guys,
don't.
guys,
Who doesn't know how
guys.
to steal it?
Guys,
Me.
I don't know how to swim.
That's a problem.
What? You
I-
don't know how to swim?
No, first of all, I'm wearing chainmail. Try swimming in chainmail in extremely hot conditions. Second of all, I've been a soldier in a city. I've never actually been in a boat, ship, or any vessel that moves across the water.
Well, I can
Except
carry
for
you, but I
once.
can't carry you through swimming.
I can
You're on a
climb
ship.
trees, but I can't swim. Sorry.
Well, it's
Especially
easy.
not with chainmail. I mean, I will just sink to the bottom.
I promise you, it's very easy. You just wrap your arms like this, and you kick your feet, and then you go forward.
Just at this happenstance that Sin is demonstrating treading water on dry land, looking very strange, whirling his arms about. You actually notice Kaya walks out of a back street, sees you, sees Sin dancing all funny, and just shakes her head and walks to the other.
I'm
What
only
was her
helping.
name? What was her name again?
Kaya. You
I
know-
go,
you know
hey
her-
Kaya! Hey Kaya, it's us! What's up?
You
Kaya!
actually
Hello!
see her move significantly faster and turn a corner. as
That's
quickly
Kaya,
as-
she knows us. She knows us. We're with her.
All
I'm
right.
sorry. Sorry.
That's fine. A rain catcher is a gold. And should you inquire about insect repellent, you are informed that there's 2 different types of insect repellent you can buy. One is either a block that burns for 8 hours when lit, that offers a 20-foot radius of protection against insects. That is going to cost you a silver. Whereas there is also a salve, a gourd of salve, that is a gold. It basically has 20 applications that you need to apply all over your skin. It's waterproof and also lasts for 24 hours.
Okay.
I
The
say we
only-
go with the bug repellent that
The
lasts.
only difference in cost being the gourd of salve is 1 gold, whereas the block of incense is. So all told, the specialty items that you're being told to buy are canoe for 50 gold, 2, but each canoe is 50 gold. Your insect repellent, which you've got options of 1 silver or a gold block versus, and a rain catcher, which you can see the rain catcher is actually a rather rudimentary design. It's just about a foot or two of hide, tanned hide, stretched between 4 pegs that you would kind of plant in the ground, and you get the sense that the hide just acts as a basin to catch any water that falls to the ground. And you are informed that it can hold maximum of actually 8 gallons. Rather large amount.
It's a mobile bathtub.
Kind of, yeah. A little bit smaller than a bathtub. You don't
Not
imagine...
for a dwarf. Not for a dwarf.
Well, I'd say probably a little bit too small for a dwarf. Maybe a pixie's bath, perhaps.
Sin looks up and says he can buy one of the canoes.
I say we split.
Yeah.
Has everybody got enough gold to like share?
I put the 43 gold into the pile.
You see that, guys? I'm paying. I'm paying. You should smell that sack, by the way.
Ooh.
Gold, right? You said the canoes cost 50.
Yeah.
Gold.
So
Well,
if I-
if we're splitting,
100
I can
gold
put
for
25
two.
down. However, we want to do it.
the insect repellent, maybe we should get both so we can put the salve on ourselves, and maybe if we camp at night, we can use that incense.
Very true. And while we're going through the water, we can probably put it on the
Yeah.
canoe. That way we don't have bugs coming and getting us.
So we should probably have a couple of the salves, shouldn't we?
Indeed.
Absolutely.
All right, so once you guys have finished discussing, someone just give me a grand total of what you're buying.
Everything.
Well, how many bars and how much of the other bug repellent are we getting?
Probably need shoot.
Keep in mind that it's probably advisable that you also save some money to perhaps purchase rations, food in the city. Sure,
Yeah.
foraging is going to be...
Sin has 95 gold.
I have 104.
I've got
80.
160 left, so you can.
Well, we all know who's paying.
Well, with the 43 added back onto his pile.
Oh, then that's
Well,
what? It's
Mr.
200.
T by the canoe.
It's 213 I have in total. If I counted 43 he gave me back, 200 and something.
I have 93 gold. So
And I have 120 left.
Well, we do need rations too. I will say that. We do need to eat.
Yeah, although if something really bad happens, there is a spell that can create water and food for up to 15 humanoids, so that should be helpful in case we run out of rations or water.
Indeed.
And you can indeed see that this merchant that you're dealing with actually does sell rations as well. And he usually sells them for a deal of 1 gold for every 2 days worth of rations.
Per person.
Yeah.
Okay. So how many rations do we take for 10 days or something?
Well, Zaka did say it was a 6-day journey upriver to get to Firefinger. Wherever you go from there is up to you guys. So, I mean, I would at least tentatively plan for 12.
I say we get at least 15 days of rations just in case something happens.
that's 30 pounds.
That's... Hey, you're right. But we're going to have 2 canoes.
Yeah, you will also have 2 canoes.
Are
We
there
will need
any?
Robith.
I asked the guy if there are any dinosaurs in town that can swim.
He says, no, it is very hard to train swimming dinosaurs.
I mean, a dinosaur that actually lives in the water. I mean, are there any tame dinosaurs in some pool or something?
He says, none that are tamed, but there are many wild plesiosaurs that you should see out in the river.
Are there any flying dinosaurs in town?
One or two are probably held beneath the Grand Colosseum fights, but nothing trained that you could ride.
Darn it. There goes my ID. There goes my ID. I just had a good ID.
Well, looks like you're gonna be learning how to swim, buddy. I will teach you.
Great.
Just don't get naked.
All right, so what's your purchases?
I straight up buy one canoe.
Okay.
Can somebody
pool it
maybe
together.
maybe somebody can act as our bookkeeper? And I'm not pointing any fingers, but I just want to point my finger towards the cleric. Just I'm not good at bookkeeping, so I just want I just throw all my money into the pile, like 213 together with his 43 money he stole
I'm
from
happy
me.
if you guys want to run on party loot too.
So maybe we just throw everything together and our bookkeeper comes up with a grand plan to buy stuff.
The church always accepts donations, of course.
Voila. So I give you the to be an example towards the rest of the party. I give you all my money, and I'm like, I trust you. You had my back in combat, so
I literally threw you.
true.
So you gave me the 43 gold pieces, right?
I gave
Or
you
did
213.
Okay.
Okay, so Sin, you did complete your transaction for the canoe, and very just kind of mindlessly, as if it's watch as Sin just kind of bends down, and as his corded muscles begin to flex and almost strain against his skin, you see he begins to pick up the canoe completely by himself. But the merchant very quickly is just like, wait. That is the demo model. We will have the real canoes delivered into the harbor.
I thought I was gonna be able to carry this thing out.
As well, I'm sure you could, but please put it down.
Sin puts it down.
Ven's gonna buy a explorer's pack, which is 10 gold, and that comes with 10 rations, and she's gonna buy another 6 on top of that. So she's
Cool.
got 16 rations.
Cool. Yeah. By the way, you are indeed all getting this from the one merchant in the Grand Soup, surprisingly.
You are a good guy.
Runa, make sure to buy me stuff. Okay.
Okay. So you already bought a canoe and you bought your own rations, right? So
Yeah.
so I only have to take care of Mr. T and myself, or are the others going to pool in money for the group fund, or?
Well,
What's
Morthos
going on?
contributed 43 gold to the 213 that Mr. T
Okay.
gave you.
Well, then I'm going to buy another canoe because we will need 2 of them. And
I do go ahead and spend 7 gold on 14 days of rations for myself, though.
yeah, I guess
Okay, my
we'll
bookkeeper
also
plan
take
didn't work.
rations for nope.
That's okay. She can be your personal book.
Yeah, I'm bad with money. I think we
taking care of
Really bad
established
with money.
I think we established the fact that I'm bad with money because I've never been outside the city, so I'm just letting her handle this.
Well, I'm buying 30 rations for the 2 of us, so we have 15 days. And how long did you say lasts those salves and incense and stuff against the insects?
The incense lasts for 8 hours, provided it stays lit. the solve lasts for 24 hours and is waterproof. So essentially, you never really have to worry about that ever kind of fading on its own.
Okay.
What is it?
Well, it will. Insect repellent, just bug repellent.
Oh, okay.
And there's either a solve or a block of incense.
So one
And
of
how
those
much are those?
gourds will be enough for Mr. T and me for the whole trip, right?
Sorry, say that again, Runa.
So one of those gourds will be enough salve because you said it's 20 days, I believe.
20
20
doses. Yeah.
uses, 20 doses. So it should be enough for the both of us, right? Or should I take
Theoretically, yeah.
2? I take 2.
Theoretically.
Just to be
Yeah.
safe.
Just spend all my money
2.
on safe,
The-
I'm
safe
also
items.
using
Maybe
mine.
buy some rope to
Solve.
tie me to the canoe or something. No, I have rope.
The
How
solve.
much was the rain catcher?
The rain catcher is 1 gold. Solve, the gourd of solve is 1 gold, and the block of incense is a silver.
And the block is enough for 12 hours, right?
8.
So I would for 8 hours. So I would need maybe 15 of those, right? If you want to use it every night.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So 1 canoe is 50 gold points. Then 30 rations will be 15. 2 gourds are 2 gold. 15 blocks of incense. I'm going to go with 16, so it will be 16 silver. That's 1.5 gold, right?
16 blocks.
Mhm.
Yeah, it would be.
You know what? I take 20, so it's just 2 gold.
So it's just 2 gold? Thank you, because my brain was not working that fast.
Yeah. And the rain catcher is 1 gold, right?
Yes, you bet.
I make it rain gold, basically, on this merchant.
You guys all are. You're making him a rich man today.
Question: does the rain catcher? Can we share that or no?
Yeah, you can share it. Now it will collect 8 gallons of water. I mean, provided you get enough rain that it will actually fill up 8 gallons of water. Now you know that water skin holds about 4 pints of liquid. So I mean, if you filled up an entire rain catcher, each of you could probably fill a water skin realistically off of it, and still probably have some left over.
So one should do.
I put it down in chat.
I saw that.
top
Thank you.
list.
I'm gonna buy the salve for myself. I don't. Ven's not gonna deal with insects.
Okay.
Do they bug you?
Ooh.
Ooh, nice.
Sin is gonna definitely pick up some of the solvents. What?
Okay.
12 of them?
Okay.
Cool.
And let's raise our glasses yet again to Ilium as we cheers one of our great admins in Fumble.
Yeah.
What did he do?
He just bought a cheers.
Mhm.
I should warn you right now. I tell you guys right now that whatever your next roll is has disadvantage thanks to Jeff the Mind Reading Dog.
It's Jeff the Mind Reading Dog again.
So rude.
It's you!
My friends were just texting me that they were going to save up their experience to make sure we get a TPK. They're just going to spend all their experience to up the difficulty class of one encounter or something.
Lovely.
Careful, don't get too mean, or one of our admins including our great and wonderful Exilium, may perhaps come down with disadvantage on you, the viewer.
We got the raincoat, right?
The rain catcher? Yeah, I think you've
Yeah,
got a
the
couple.
raincoat. Okay, cool.
All right, everybody done their shopping?
Yep.
We didn't need anti-venom because Asaka knows these plants, right?
Yeah, wild root.
Well, should we get healing potions or something? If they want to buy us a TPK.
I mean, potions
Just
have
saying.
never came wrong.
They could save up. They could also hopefully save up their XP to buy you a healing potion. Well, if they were nice.
Yeah, but I'm their dungeon master, so they don't like me.
Oh, that's their way of getting revenge. Careful when you poke a DM. When you poke a DM a lot, DM will bite back.
An eye for an eye and a TPK for a TPK.
Exactly. All right, so everybody's done shopping? All right,
Sin
so it's
definitely is.
it's about mid-evening by the time you complete all of your shopping. Perhaps time to have yourselves a meal, have yourselves probably the last decent night's rest in Kaya's House of Repose that you'll get for a period of time, should you choose to go back. You did only pay for 1 day, I believe, when you did purchase the ring. It's up to you what you do with the rest of the night. Azaka, having joined you in shopping to ensure that you guys did indeed buy what you needed to buy to make sure that everything that you didn't get taken by the locals. She bids you adieu and says that she is going home and she will meet you down at the docks by the canoe launches at first light.
That map that you gave us in chat, do we have something like that? Did Syndra Sylvain gave us that, or do we have to buy a map just to have a little bit of orientation?
Are you speaking of the map of Chult or the map
Yes.
of Courtney and Zaru?
The map of Child.
The map of Chult with the big like hole in the middle of it? Yeah, that you have. You were actually each given copies of that map. Yep.
So we can paint in that basically.
You bet.
Our characters. I mean, not the players. Okay.
So if you were to actually look at that map right now, you would be able to see that the mouth of the river Tariki is actually not far from Portney and Zaru, and it seems to extend down into the heart of Chult, some number of miles. If you really wanted to examine it, you could probably tell the exact number, but it's unimportant. Azaka has kind of informed you that it's about 6 days travel into where Shino's Firefinger is. Now, one thing to note about that map is that it does actually not have Firefinger marked. It is somewhere down the river Tariki.
Going down the river.
What is this song you sing?
Oh, it's from another realm. It's from another realm.
All right,
Oh.
where do you guys go, guys? To just head back to Kaya's, buy lodgings and food for the evening? Are you going to? What are you going to do?
Well, Sin is very hungry for throwing a dwarf.
I shall buy you food with the money I gave to my cleric. Well, actually, I'm her fighter, so we belong to each other.
So, is she paying or are you paying?
She's paying with my money.
Who's actually getting me dinner?
She's paying with my money, but she does it out of love, so she's actually paying with her heart. So we're both paying a little bit.
Well, we need her heart
Absolutely.
intact, because she just made all those undead just run
Don't
away
take
in
stuff.
fear.
Don't take stuff literally.
Oh, that wasn't a literal term? She wasn't gonna give her heart?
This is going to be such a long trip.
Nope.
Come on, guys, let's go. And Ven kind of like shoves everyone towards Kaya's.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but I thought you literally meant she was gonna give her heart. I was just like, what? Why?
So as you guys
Just a
argue,
figure of speech.
the nuances of literal meanings and figures of speech with a man who perhaps doesn't even know how to spell half those words, you arrive back at Kaya's. As you enter, Kaya looks up, notes that it's you, and immediately looks busy.
Sup, Gaia?
Sup. She seems to lean over and tell one of her maids for the evening to go and take care of you. There he is. The maid comes over and kind of offers a slight bow, and she bids you to sit and asks if you'd like to see a menu or if you are just purchasing rooms for the evening.
Both, please.
Yes.
Both.
All right. So, as you guys well know, lodgings for the evening are going to cost you 1 gold per room. It does come with a key that will lock. You can fit 2 people per room if you'd so like, but that's entirely up to your preference.
Are there 2 beds?
I am a soldier.
No.
I am a soldier. I can sleep everywhere, so I will even sleep on the ground if there's only 1 bed. No problem. No questions asked. Just put me inside one of you guys' room.
We could Banbuck.
I swear I won't get naked.
That's a relief.
I just need room for my bungos.
Just let's share a room, okay?
And just to go over the menu for the sake of our viewers, Kaya's House of Repose features 3 regular meals that seemingly reoccur every night. The first and cheapest of the meals is known as Aramag's Delight. It is a grilled local fish with roasted vegetables, costing 8 silver. The second tier meal, I suppose, is known as Ubtau's Finest, and is an 8-ounce Hadrosaurus steak, cooked to order with roasted local vegetables. And finally, the richest and probably the most delectable of the 3 choices is known as the Prince's Pick, which is leg of lamb with roast vegetables and a wild root and riath root mash that those who ate it the last time you were here actually knows comes with a little bit of benefit should you eat it, in kind of game terms as well. They also offer for drinks tej, which is a very, very common drink and seemingly an absolute favorite, and in fact seemingly has replaced ale in the kind of local society. And they also have wine, both a common wine served in pitchers, or as Ven more prefers, fine wine served in bottles. Because as I'm sure Ven was taught by her parents, wine never comes in a pitcher. It always comes in a bottle.
Sacrilegious.
I order wine in a pitcher.
All right, that is.
And then I pour a glass of wine, and then I drink from the pitcher.
Ven stares at you with her, one milky, blind-looking eye and her other piercing golden eye, and just gives you a death stare.
I will buy 2 gallons of pitchers of the tej.
Okay, so a gallon cask of the tej.
Yeah, so 2 of those.
2 of those, nice. So 4 silver.
Yep.
And yeah, you guys kind of lose sight of Morthos as two 1 gallon casks get in front of him. He appears to be ready to either share or do a heavy amount of drinking before he goes on this trip.
I'm sharing and drinking a lot. I am homesick of Luskin.
Sin looks at him and says, "May I try that?"
You already have, but have as much as you want.
Did I try that? I don't
Yeah,
remember.
you have tried Tej before. In fact, it was a strange interaction between you and some locals, Sin, because you had heard their ancient dialect, which was this beautiful sing-songy language with kind of clicks and these kind of extra noises added into the words, and just been so amazed at this wonderful musical talents that you'd heard coming from these people that you had just randomly gone up to them and paid them, I can't remember the exact number of gold, but you'd paid them a specific number of gold, and in response, as is only fair, the merchant returned in kind by giving you your very own first flask of Tej. And since then, it's been a particular favorite of yours because it is very sweet.
Yes, I will have some more of that. Now I do not remember after drinking it. I don't remember much at all, but I will have some again and again and again.
And what would you like to eat?
The
Sin?
second order. I can't remember what it was. She went very quick
Steak.
on it.
That's Ubtal's finest. That's the 8-ounce Hadrosaurus steak cooked to order with roasted vegetables. So when you order that, you are expected to pay 2 gold, but they do ask you how you like your meat.
Medium rare.
All right.
Morthos would have the fish again.
Okay.
Ven's going to pay for a room because she's not sharing with anyone. She's going to buy her fine wine because it's the last time she's going to have it for a while.
Okay.
And she wants Uktau's finest, very rare.
All right. So rare it's almost freshly carved, huh?
I'm also getting that good meal.
Steak?
They're having the steak. And I
Okay,
want
so,
I want it like the bottom of a shoe. That's how raw I want to eat it. Like, it should be almost uneatable. That's how I want it.
Okay. Okay. Now, then I need you to roll a stealth check. Now, unfortunately,
Oh, no.
thanks to Jeff the mind reading dog, this is at disadvantage. And the rest of you, I need you to roll a perception check.
Wait, hold on. Instead of stealth, can I do deception?
Sure.
Wait,
I get the
Which one's
sense
that?
you know what I'm doing.
which die is that?
So roll a d20.
Okay.
I got a 16.
20.
Holy shit, a 16 at
24.
disadvantage?
14.
I rolled a 10 and 11.
Okay, so Runa, you got a 24.
I rolled
Was
an
that
18.
Henrik that said you got 20?
Yep. 20.
Okay, and Will, what'd you get?
14.
14, Sin?
13.
13, and Selenia, what'd you get?
13.
13. Okay, so as your meals come, everything is placed in front of you. It looks just as delicious as last night's meal. Now, Mr. T, you have this raw steak in front of you, and you kind of just grab it with both hands and begin, doing the very comic pulling of the steak, almost gnawing it off. Now, both you and Runa catch sight of something as Ven opens her mouth to eat a bite of her steak. You catch sight of one of her incisor teeth on the side of her mouth, and it is extremely elongated, almost like a carnivore's tooth. And you can almost see just the pure delight in her eyes as she kind of savors the kind of very almost bloody meat that she is chewing. And only Mr. T and Runa notice this. However, she very quickly takes note of you seeing this and kind of very then prim and properly just kind of slips meat past her lips and close and very chews with a very closed mouth.
Cool tooth. Awesome.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, the tooth in your mouth. Cool.
Yes, I have teeth. So do you.
So there are two things that now stand out, especially to you, Runa. I was particularly curious about your companion. One, which was probably the most alarming of the two, was when you had faced the Batiri goblins. When you had first arrived here, Ben had actually received quite a grievous wound at the time. And when you had gone to examine her, further heal her, you had discovered that she had barely a heartbeat, if any at all. You actually couldn't feel one when you tried to check her pulse. And now this.
Can I want to stealthily unsheath my sword like a little bit, like with my thumb, like this, and then look at Runa with my eyes, ask her if I should do anything.
Okay. So you don't really need to roll a stealth check. That's really kind of non-committal to just pop your sword out. But Runa, you do definitely get this look, and you've seen this look multiple times before, especially when you lived with your dwarves, with the dwarves that you've kind of adapted the culture, and you've learned to read dwarven body language, which most people think is mostly either angry, drunk, or sleepy. But you notice the kind of nuances of dwarven body language, and you note that Mr. T is just wound like a tight spring right now, ready to pop at a moment's notice, and he just kind of gives you the look as if, you know, if you want me to, I'll create hell right here.
Can Sin like notice what's going on besides devouring his food that he's very much enjoying and drinking the drink that he loves so much? But can he pick up on the subtle hints of all of this?
I will say that most of the interaction has been lost on Sin, as he has just been gobbling down this food. But as you lower one of the casks that you had actually just picked up and taken a large pull out of, as you lower the cask, the tej is kind of dripping off. Does Sin have a beard?
Sin does have a beard, yes.
Okay, as it's dripping off of the beard, the tej, you kind of stop and take gathering, and you know that there is a little bit of tension. There's definitely a strain here, and it's kind of like the kid that walked in on his parents fighting. You know, everybody just kind of stops and looks at you, and you look at them, and everybody knows that nobody wants to say the next word.
I put my hand on Mr. T's shoulder just to keep him down for the moment so he doesn't jump over the table and attack Ben. And then I say, forgive me, but I noticed that you feel very cold to the touch and you don't have a pulse. And you seem to take great delight in this very rare meat. You didn't show up as undead in my vision, and you do go out in sunlight, so what's the deal with that?
Forgive me for avoiding this topic at this time, but I feel like it's not appropriate to discuss this here.
I think it is appropriate to discuss if sorry, I had some wine. To discuss this very quickly because we are about to embark on a great and epic adventure together. So we should know, all of us, what the hell is up with you. Just saying, not pointing any fingers, just want to know what's up with you. Oh, these guys.
Mr. T, really quickly, roll a Constitution saving throw.
As he's doing that, Sin looks and goes, what are we talking about? Like,
This is over 20.
Okay. So a little bit of wine threatens to come back up there, Mr. T, as you're talking. But as most dwarves do, you just do your people proud and swallow that shit.
I'm keeping shit together.
I think with an outburst, Morthos will take out the playing cards for 3 Dragon Eddie and slap him down on the table, and I stare at Mr. T in the eye right now.
I would like to go up in that thing you're doing, but she has my money, and if she doesn't,
We'll play for fun.
If she doesn't
so
think
you
it's
know
a
the
good
rules
idea,
next time.
okay,
and I'll take another swig.
Okay, it's
of the Tej.
Cool, it's cool.
Okay, so I'll just assume for the rest of the night that Morthos and Mr. T excuse themselves from the rest of the party and begin coming up with their own kind of twisted version of 3 Dragon Enti, mixed with a drinking game, mixed with a dwarven drinking game,
slapping each other.
It's become this weird thing, and Morthos begins to use his tail to kind of whip cards at Mr. T while Mr. T's like trying to punch him back. It's really embarrassing. But back at the table where calmer things are going on, Sin, Selenia, Ven, and Runa still sit quietly eating dinner. Well, except for Sin, who by now is probably stealing any leftovers left on anybody else's plate.
Are you gonna finish that? That just looks delectable. Are you gonna finish that?
Gnawing on a bone like a dog.
I push him the vegetables.
Ugh, vegetables.
And
What do you
I
think?
give
I'm a
him my
savage?
plate, what's left on it. And I look at Ven very piercingly and I say, we will talk about this later. As long as you can assure me that you are no danger to this group and to our divine mission to save the world from this death curse, I'm fine with it.
I am on this mission 100%, and I will explain everything when we leave the city.
Very well.
Sin looks very puzzled and looks at both of you discussing what you've just discussed, and
I hand you the rest of my steak and say, eat.
okay, will do.
Selenia, is there anything in particular that you do this night before going to sleep?
She just prays before she goes to bed. Nothing too exciting.
Praying to your guide for guidance, or to your god, or both, kind of thing.
They're kind of both.
Okay.
Before you go up to pray, I will put my hand on your arm and say, please, before you go, we have fought together and shed blood. You should tell us your name, don't you think so? Or do you want us to grunt at you?
Yeah, I want to know his name. I want to know his name too. Right here.
Me as well.
Plus one.
I want to know what you too.
Well, she doesn't laugh. She looks at all of you. And she looks at all of you with her little judgy eyes. And she's like, Selenia is my name. And she walks away.
And
very nice meeting you.
Bye.
You are just answered with a door closing, and the rest of the party drinks together. However, Runa and Ven, after a period of time, you probably wish to leave because Morthos, Mr. T, and Sin have all seemingly gotten together to come up with their own drinking song. You're not quite sure, because Sin, it's
we
this
have
very
a,
kind of
we have
guttural throat singing. Mr. T, it's dwarven, and Morthos seems to be...
The Luskan accent is going full out, like full pirate.
I suggest a bar stool throwing contest.
And with that, I shall retire to my room.
Kaya, at that point, finally comes over and is like, please, don't destroy my furniture. You're already making me lose enough money as is. Fucking singing.
Oh, now shall I offer my bongos then? I bring them out.
Drum
says,
solo.
I don't care. I don't care. And
Okay.
she just walks away. So the rest of you all do struggle to find some sleep for a while as the sounds of thunderous bongos, pirate singing mixed with dwarvish and basically Eskimo throat singing reverberate up and down and throughout Kaya's house of repose, keeping many people up in the city, I'm sure. But after an extended period of time and late in the evening, they too fall asleep. The next morning,
Because I
you
can't.
awaken early enough. Sorry?
Just because they are so loud, I'm going to use the time and cast another ritual and pray for those who have fallen today and create a flask of holy water, which takes me 1 hour to prepare and cost 25 gold.
Excellent. The next day you awaken, all feeling well rested. You receive much the same breakfast as you did the night before. However, a couple notable things. One, Sin, you wake up and the water and granola that you requested the day before is actually back again on your counter, as if somebody came into your room while you slept to ensure that when you woke up, everything you needed was right in front of you.
Still some weird sorcery going on.
The rest of you are all served whatever you'd like to be served. Mr. T, you requested yesterday, and you'll get it again today, this thick yellowish milk that doesn't seem to come from a cow, but you're not sure what it comes from. It is very much like thick eggnog. That's the color of and viscosity of this liquid.
I put it in my granola and start eating it.
Mm-hmm. It's hearty. It tastes nutritious. A little bit of a weird tang to it, and it kind of gives a really nasty finish. And in fact, you let out a rather large belch, and then, unfortunately, you are right in the wind of this belch and just get the full smell of just this milk mixture of tej and wine and probably some form of pipe smoke that he got his hands on last night. You don't know.
How absolutely foul.
Don't let it bug you.
By the way, I should note that Mr. T is also probably sitting in his underwear.
Yep. I am. I never eat with my chainmail on.
Scratching
Can you
his
please put on
scratching his
pants?
belly.
Oh, these armbands. These armbands are just very short.
Maybe
And you
should
wear
put
them
that
underneath
corn
your
purse
other
back
pair.
in.
Yeah,
Did
she
you
has my
saw
money.
That statue? Did see that statue of that king in the harbor, right? Maybe you should get him such a loin cloth. Just to improve his morning attire.
Now, Selenia, what do you do today after having breakfast? Is there anywhere in particular you'd like to maybe go? Are you just going to kind of go out and look at the sun as it rises in worship of your god, or?
She does prepare her spells,
Right.
like when she wakes up.
Yep.
And then goes eat, and then I think she goes outside and walks around for a bit, maybe go into the market, check it out. But while she does that, she hides her hair, her glowing hair, so she doesn't get too much attention.
Some of my friends are asking what the level up potion thing does when they use it, because it's only 5 experience points to use it in a shed, so they can buy a lot of those.
What is it? Sorry.
There's something they can buy for us with their XP, and it's called level up, or something. Wait,
I am unaware.
Ah, okay, then it's probably not true. I don't know.
Who knows?
But let's try.
It's
So,
called level 1. I'm sorry, it's called level 1.
level 1.
There is something you can buy for 5 XP, and it's called level 1, and it says, well, it need a price.
I shall ask.
Okay, no problem.
I knew most of them, but I don't remember knowing that one.
It's all the way in the bottom. They're showing it to me right now because it just says level 1. No,
Anyway,
it says level 2.
Selenium.
Oh, okay, that's just our level or something. I don't know.
Or maybe their level. It's like a weird little, you can actually level up if you'd like.
Okay, yeah.
Selenia, as you sorry, sending a message. As you're wandering through, just kind of gathering your thoughts and kind of thinking back to your times in Eltergard and the time that you saw basically the biggest symbol of your faith and saw and just about gave your oath to the Creed Resolute, where you would have ended up living in Eltergard for the rest of your life. A Chultan male approaches you, stumbling as if drunk. He stumbles into you and looks right into your eyes and whispers,
Be right back.
"Speak to the wise guardian of Oralunga, east of Umbala. She can direct you to that which you seek." And for a moment, you see the eyes of your angelic guide, Sarandiel, staring back at you before this Chultan male's eyes roll back into his head and he falls onto the ground in front of you, unconscious.
She'll check on him to make sure he's okay.
He is breathing. Yep.
And she goes, walk off. Okay. I missed that part.
I
Sorry.
said, speak to the wise guardian at Oralunga, east of Umbala. I'll put the spelling of both of those in the chat.
She just repeats it to herself in mind, like thinking about it, like what does that mean? I think she'll just go to the market and scope it out.
Okay, it
See if
seems
she finds anything.
regular and common. There doesn't seem to be anything in particularly interesting that stands out. And after a period of time, you wander back towards the inn just as your friends are leaving. And together, the party begins to make its way down towards the harbor. There, you meet up with Azaka Stormfang, who asks, "Well, are you ready to go? Our 2 canoes are right here."
Absolutely.
Which one is Sins?
She points to one that seems to have a blue ribbon tied on the bow of the canoe.
I throw my axe in it.
Okay.
I follow the big guy. I feel like he can protect me more.
Try to get the dwarf into the other canoe.
I'm carrying the dwarf.
Okay.
He's just so light. It's easy to carry them.
So who's
If you say so.
Who's
who's
in what
piloting the canoes? I should say, I don't know what the word is for it.
Collectively, all of you kind of will. It's mostly just he had to grab granola. Essentially, it's just paddle with oars. Azaka will kind of teach you the basic paddling maneuvers. And it's kind of one person paddles in the front, the other person paddles in the back. If you guys want to assign like specific paddlers, you absolutely can. But it's kind of not necessary.
I was going to say, if it would make sense being raised in Luskin, I would probably have some knowledge of such things, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. You've
Okay.
probably been around canoes and been around ships all your life, so you generally have an idea. As you begin to paddle your way out of the main harbor of Port Nianzaru, Azaka kind of looks around and she goes, "So, who is navigating?"
Wait, who am I in a ship?
You're the guide, right?
Who is in my boat?
I believe you're with Sin, Runa, and say Azaka.
I'm keeping a careful eye on a vampire girl.
Well, I think I'm in the other boat.
Yeah.
Still,
You're with Selenia and Morthos.
you see me. You
the
see me
boat.
rowing and staring. You see me rowing.
So the oddballs
and
are in their own
staring.
canoe, and the other oddballs are not in their own canoe.
Yeah.
All right, makes sense.
100%. Okay, so Azaka, in answer to Runa saying, "You're the guide," Azaka kind of asks for one of you to let her see your map.
I hand it to her.
Okay. She looks at the map for a second, looks up, looks down, looks at the map, and she says, "It's this way." Now, the first day of your travel is spent rather uneventfully. You watch as quite a few miles of coast pass between, and you actually come around the bend. And as you get into the kind of mouth or inlet of the river Tariki, the last vestige of Port Nianzaru, which is the gleaming golden roof of the great temple that you had not ever visited, is the last thing you see before you round the corner and Port Nianzaru is lost from sight. As the first day comes to a close, you actually get very close to the inlet of the mouth of the river, and Azaka says, "We should make camp. Best not to travel in the dark." So at this point,
Very well.
I'd have you guys describe kind of what you guys would like your kind of atypical camp setup to be. Perhaps maybe discuss kind of who takes what roles around the camp. Are you guys taking a rotating watch? Is there going to be set people for the watch? Are you going to send out certain people for fireworks, certain people to forage? Kind of give me your atypical nightly camp setup.
Okay.
I mean, I'll take first watch.
I'm human, so I have to get a full rest. So, I mean, I can watch for maybe a few since I'm the burly dude, but I do need to sleep.
Maybe you should get the
Yeah.
firewood.
I can get the firewood. That works.
I'll help the barbarian out with that because I've got muscles but no brain, so I'll just
You
drag
climb
on with it.
trees.
I can
You can
climb
break
trees,
down
yes.
Okay.
Or he can throw me up in a tree or something.
You're so right.
What's our campsite look like? Like, where do we?
You're
get-
camping on a beach right now. Kind of a beach mixing into kind of a riverfront beach. You're very much like right at the edge of where sand meets kind of just jungle.
I would probably personally forage and probably walk up along the riverbank, maybe looking for crawdads.
Okay, roll a survival check, and this is at advantage, thanks again to Jeff the Mind Reading Dog.
You're the best, Jeff. Thank you.
That's funny that you call him Jeff because his name is totally not Jeff.
Oh well.
I just go by the username that.
That's 21.
A 21. Okay, indeed, you do find everything you're looking for. You actually find quite a few crawdads. You find actually a couple crabs, a couple soft shell crabs that you could probably throw in with the crawdads to make a nice stew. And weirdly enough, something catches your eye just off in the distance. It seems to be a tree rather overladen with what seem to be large nuts.
I'll go ahead and check that out then.
While he's
Okay.
doing that, I'm like keeping an eye out.
Okay. So the ever vigilant paladin keeps watch as everybody kind of mills.
Can
about
I put like I have 10 torches, so I would just want to try to make a circle around the camp with torches because it scares away animals. Fire scares away animals. That's a thing I learned in the army. So
I will let you know that torches do only last for an hour, so you're only gonna get an hour of that protection.
then
before all of your-
I light one torch every hour. That's just
I think
Wait
you
till it
have a big
It
fire.
gets dark.
so I put eight torches out, just scattered across.
Is it dark right now, or is it?
It's definitely getting very much to the sun is beginning to set. You guys are going to have to think about sleeping. As you approach this tree, Morthos, you can see the reason why this tree is so kind of bent double with the weight of these nuts. From a distance, you hadn't been able to quite tell their size, but as you approach, these nuts are actually just smaller than a closed fist. They're rather large.
I think I'll go ahead and try to. Would I be able to jump up and grab one, or would it be better to climb the tree and try to get one?
You could probably easily jump up and grab one, actually.
Okay, I'll do that. Do I have to roll
Okay.
anything, or?
No. As you jump up and grab it, and it kind of comes off with a snap, you hear actually a rattle from the inside. And as this nut rattles, all of a sudden, bright light sheds itself in a 10-foot radius out from this nut, and dim light for an additional 10 feet. So you've shaken this nut, and essentially just this light erupts from the nut itself.
So it's pretty much like a light source.
Pretty much, yep.
Wow. Okay.
After about a minute, you see the light kind of fade away.
I shake the nut again.
The exact same thing happened.
Awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and try to collect. There's 6 of us in the party, so probably just in case 10.
Okay.
That makes me look
As-
stupid with my torches.
As you begin picking these nuts, you hear something in the tree moving around.
How far away is he from us?
You can see, you actually probably, all of you caught by this kind of bright light that flared up down the beach. Morthos is actually probably about 100 feet away from you.
Can we actually see him, or is he just like we saw the ambient light around him?
You saw the ambient light, and it would have outlined him actually very clearly for a second, and then you just kind of see these little kind of firefly-like flashes as he's assumingly picking more of these nuts, and they rattle and shake.
Well, I have
That's not how you're
120-foot dark vision, so
Oh, you can see him clearly then.
Okay.
Start walking towards him.
In black and white.
Okay. As you're sitting there, Morthos, what do you do as you kind of hear this noise?
probably freeze frame for a second and try to look into the tree. See if
Okay.
what it is that's making the noise.
Okay. You see, actually, coming out of the darkness, 'cause you have dark vision, correct, as a tiefling?
Yeah.
Okay, you can actually see, coming out of the deep, deep foliage of this tree, is what appears to be a very fat, stuffed teddy bear kind of looking thing that just kind of picks its way along the tree branch, kind of like a koala, basically, and kind of picks itself out and kind of just gives you this quizzical look for a second.
Is it not being aggressive? It's just looking at me?
It is definitely looking at you very curiously.
I will take one of the nuts and probably slowly bring it to it. See what happens.
Okay. As you slowly bring the nut to it, it kind of inches towards you and inches towards you just a little bit. And then right at the last minute, you see its mouth curl up and reveal rows of razor sharp teeth. And you see the paw kind of flick open and these razor sharp claws come out. And it is just going to try and rake you with one of these claws.
Oh boy.
All right, E is going to hit you for a 22.
That definitely hits.
And he will deal 8 points of slashing damage.
I saw this happen, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And you all...
too.
I yell, guys, I need help!
Okay, you all would have definitely heard that. And so we will all roll initiative again.
So you stole my money earlier on, right?
I gave it back in the pile.
You put it on a pile, you didn't give it back to me.
Okay, let's start with Runa. What'd you get?
12.
12. Sin?
3.
Ooh. Mr. T?
13.
Morthos?
7.
Selenia?
8.
And Ben.
You made
14.
me eat an entire bag of granola, by the way.
That's good for you. Okay, so Ven, you are up first, actually, as you hear Morthos go, guys!
I'm going to run forward as my 30 feet, and I'm also going to cast... It's just one creature, right? I can only see one creature?
Seems to be, yeah.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to cast Chaos Bolt.
Shit. Okay.
Which is kind of a complicated spell. I'm trying to find it. But basically...
Oh, I see it. Okay, make a ranged spell attack.
Yeah, I rolled a nat 1. So...
Okay, so this intense, crazy stream of just reddish, purplish, black, chaotic energy arcs out from this this figure that you guys know to be Ven, and you see, unfortunately, he seems to have a rather vicious vendetta against seagulls, as this energy lashes out yet again and catches a poor, unaware seagull and just vaporizes it in a puff of feathers.
That was totally my target.
Next up in the initiative round is Mr. T. Now, you are 100 and 100 feet from Mortho.
I say, nice going, vampire girl, and then I start running.
I yell back, I'm a dampire, damn it!
I hustled.
You did all hear that.
50
so-
feet. So I run 50 feet, and then I use my action surge to run another 50 feet. Can I do that?
All right.
So I run 100 feet as if it was nothing, because I'm a fast dwarf.
Dwarves do very well in short distances.
We are natural born sprinters, you know.
Oh, he went against everything he said he wouldn't do. Mr. T went Scottish. All right.
Messed with his mind.
And Runa, you are up as you just watched Mr. T essentially roadrunner as his legs became a blur of movement as he sprinted 100 feet.
So he's 100 feet away from me now, right?
Yeah. Him and Morthos are 100 feet away from you.
And then is 30 feet ahead of me, and the rest is still with me, right? So I'm
Yeah.
going to cast Bless on what was Daniel's name again? Selenia?
Selenia.
And Sin and myself. And then I follow the party.
Okay.
My movement is 30 feet.
Excellent. And Selenia, it is your turn.
So how close was I? I did say I was walking towards him, getting.
Yeah, I'll say that you managed to close the distance by about 10 feet before initiative began, so you're 90 feet from Morthos.
Okay. This thing looks like a gremlin, like a bear. Teddy bear.
Basically think
Angry
razor
Care
sharp
Bear.
koala.
Okay. Can I? I was gonna say she walks her 30. She's got a speed of 30. So how far can that get me?
That'll get you 30 feet.
Okay. She goes up 30 feet, and then
You're 50 feet away from Morthos now. Oh, sorry, 60 feet away from
okay.
Now I do believe.
Can I use? Oh, what?
Check this. Just because you probably don't quite know. Your spear is actually now within range. You've closed enough of the gap that if you wanted to throw your spear at the creature, you could. Up to you, though.
I was gonna. Can I use command on it?
Interesting.
Spell command. And then I was gonna tell it to approach me.
Okay, he is going to have to succeed on a wisdom saving throw. Now, thanks to Sir Samalot, or Samalot, he has actually increased your spell save DC by 1 for this save. So, the creature will have more of a difficult time trying to pass your spell save.
Those guys were actually wondering what that would do if they bought that. So now we know.
Yep.
They thought it would increase the difficulty class rating of a encounter.
It is. We generally want for mostly just you guys, like the DC up on your guys, but it's been sitting there waiting to be used for a while, so I'm going to apply this DC to the monster instead. Which he fails. So actually, you note Selenia, that the creature seems to be looking directly at you and actually is beginning to make the initial movements of coming towards you. And then as it is its turn now, it will actually move its full 30 feet down onto the ground and begin heading towards you, directly ignoring Morthos and Mr. T, who are now behind it. Now, interestingly enough, Morthos, I need you to roll a perception for me, please.
That is 18 total.
18. Now, you notice something interesting about this creature as it just kind of walks past you. The interesting thing about this creature is that you note that its fur and its skin seems to almost gain a stone-like quality as soon as it starts to walk across the earth. Almost as if it's changing per the terrain it's on. Now, back to the initiative round. Morthos, you are up. So this creature has moved, we'll say that enough to get down out of the tree and towards Selenia. It is probably 20 feet away from you.
I will go ahead and...
I haven't played.
What?
I haven't attacked yet.
You got a 3, did you not?
Yeah, I thought it. He was the. Oh, never mind. Okay. Yep. Cool. Go ahead.
Morthos,
Okay.
you're up.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and use my bonus action to cast Hexblade Curse onto the creature.
Okay.
And I will go ahead and close the distance and draw my rapier and stab it.
Excellent.
That's a natural 19. Do you remember what happens with Hexblade Curse?
No, you'll have to remind me.
It's a bonus action. I add my proficiency to the damage, and the crit counts as a natural 19 as well as a 20.
Excellent. Wow, look at you go.
Okay, so that is 6 for the damage die, plus 2 for the proficiency bonus, and plus 4 for the charisma. So, yeah, that's 12 total.
12.
It counts as magic.
Okay. Interestingly enough, you do see that this hits and it cuts into this creature, and it actually seems to scare it enough that it just skitters off into the jungle, seemingly to perhaps terrorize another unknown foreigner to its land. As you're kind of looking at it, Azaka approaches and she says, that was a Zorbo.
And
Oh.
what's that?
A what?
Zorbo.
And
There.
that is.
Names in the chat. That was that angry koala bear.
I know. I was like, she wants to know more.
Oh, okay. Azaka says, they are interesting creatures. Prized. Most of their organs are very prized in some circles because the creature is said to have innate magical ability.
Do we have to worry about it later?
Because
I actually
you always worry about
don't want to be part of this conversation. I'm already trying to catch that creature. I'm already trying. I just throw my axe at it. So.
Okay, make an
soon-
attack roll then.
I say soon. But just a question: shouldn't we have gotten an attack of opportunity when it passed us?
Yeah.
Just putting it out there. What?
You want?
No,
If
no,
you
no
and-
problem, no problem. I mean, it happened, but
I kind of assumed that you knew that it wasn't really like aggressively moving through you, so you kind of let it go. I don't know.
let it go.
But no, Mr. T's a monster.
No, I'm not a monster. I'm a fighter. I rolled a what's that? That's probably a 21. Yeah, 21.
That definitely hits this creature. And you're throwing your hand axe at it?
Yeah, I've got a hand axe, yeah.
Okay, cool.
I accidentally rolled 2d6, which I cannot do because it's a different weapon, so I'm gonna roll again. I rolled it
Thank
through
you.
6 damage.
All right. So as this Zorbo goes running off and without another word, Mr. T whips around and throws the hand axe, and it just catches the Zorbo right in the back of the head. And with kind of a cute little whimper, a little, it just dies.
Hey, it attacked my gold-stealing friend, so I kill it.
I go and pat you on the back.
So what did you say? It was worth money?
Can I go examine it?
Azaka says, in some circles, yes.
Can we eat it? That's the main question.
No, Zorbo meat is very tough.
Oh, but I like tough meat, so in theory, can we eat it?
She says, as far as I know, it is not poisonous.
Let's try it. I'm cooking.
Are they common in this area?
So they are common throughout the whole jungle.
Mm.
They generally like trees that they can forage on.
More
Some
Tolley.
of which are the popular waka nuts that are on this tree.
Do we still need
So what is
firewood?
this? Yeah.
Glowing nuts, right?
No, I'll assume that by now you and Mr. T have kind of collectively gathered enough that
Okay.
kind of happened after you had kind of all set up camp, but before you'd all kind of sat down.
Okay, definitely.
To light the firewood, can I cast my cantrip, create bonfire on it to
Sure.
light it? Sweet. I'll do that.
So as whoever may be preparing, I'll say Azaka was preparing to pull out her tinderbox. You just walk up and just, and all of a sudden, very quickly, you guys have this beautiful roaring blade. No struggle. The nice dry driftwood seems to light up quite well, which is a little bit shocking considering the amount of rain. It seems the heat does enough in the little bit of time that it peeks through that it has kept most of this wood dry enough. However, magically creating a bonfire, even wet wood wouldn't stand in. So,
Show off.
all right.
I need someone to help me with my wounds real quick.
I will
That's
come
cure
over.
wounds.
You're going to sleep soon. Calm down.
Right, forgot about that.
You want to heal him?
That's metagaming. That's metagaming. Guys,
No, it's common knowledge that everything's better when you wake up.
Yeah, just wounds heal. When
I
you
grew a hand. I grew a hand. Just kidding, of course.
Would any of you like to tell him he'll be
Yes.
better in the morning?
You'll be better, my friend.
I will take care of his wounds.
Okay.
I'll do first watch. Or unless somebody else
Get
said they
12
would.
hit points back.
Runa, you said 7 hit points back to Morthos?
12.
12 hit points back to Morthos.
Wow.
I roll an 8.
That's my whole HP pool.
It's a good thing you
Back
didn't
up to
get
15,
hit.
guys. I'm good.
All right. So the next day, you all awaken. It's actually a light rain. It's not necessarily enough to hinder travel or vision, but it's enough to make a person uncomfortable. Add that to the oppressive heat with no clear shade on the River Tariki, and it's not the best time. And very quickly, actually, you guys become aware of how much water you guys are going to need. By about the first hour into the day, all of your water skins are empty. just for the sake of the fact that you guys are all so thirsty from this heat that
Are
it
we-
becomes a challenge. Now, the rain is falling enough that Azaka does suggest that you put up a rain catcher in the canoe that has the least amount of people in it. You can actually get up one of them.
Is the canoe by itself not a rain capture device? I mean, it's a freaking canoe.
Yes, but I mean, do you really want to drink canoe water?
Oh, right.
Yeah. I'm resistant to poison because I'm a dwarf.
He's not in
So, Mr. T merely just shakes his head, and those in the canoe with him he finds a small puddle right in the kind of right bottom of the canoe and just face plants into the canoe, and you just hear this large as he slurps up this water. You guys collect about 3 or 4 gallons throughout the entire day. But you find that this is still not enough to satiate everybody's thirst when you come to the end of the day. And I need everybody to roll a Constitution saving throw. And thanks to, give me a second here, again, Jeff the Mind Reading Dog, all have advantage from this saving throw.
What's a saving throw? Which
Thank
one's
you.
that?
So you're going to roll a d20 and add your Constitution saving throw.
I have a
I rolled a
22.
natural 1 and a 3.
Okay, Morthos.
Here.
That is 10 total.
Okay, then
I also rolled a natural 1, but I also rolled a 7, so 10 total.
okay.
I have 7 total, if that makes any difference.
And Selenia, what'd you get?
I got a 15. And where do I look? Constitution.
Saving throw number. If you don't have anything there, it's just your Constitution modifier.
Plus 2. 17.
Okay. And Sin, what'd you get for your Constitution saving throw?
19.
19. Okay. Runa, Sin, and Selenia, you guys feel fine. However, Morthos, Mr. T, and Ven, this day seems to have caught up to you, and you have gained 1 point of exhaustion as you feel yourselves just tired, drained, thirsty, sick of being in the jungle already. You're sick of everything trying to kill you. Just been a very long day. However, with nothing crazy happening throughout the evening, you awaken the next day. Now,
Just a second. I will switch one of my spells to create food and water, just to avoid that in the future. I will take out protection from evil and take create water instead.
okay, good to know. Anybody else need to change out their prepared spells? Is everybody good for right now? Okay. The next day, Sin, as you're going through your pack, kind of packing everything up, you notice something interesting. You notice that some of your rations are gone. About 2 days worth of rations are gone from your pack. However, in its place is a small, unrefined hematite gemstone, which is an opaque gray-black gemstone. And you know that wasn't in your pack before.
I reach my hand in and I pull it out and I go, I had food. Does rations turn into, the ones that I bought, turn into gems after not being eaten?
Are you just directing that question to the kind of general populace?
Yeah, into the general area. I'm like, do they turn into gems?
Okay, who stole his food?
I didn't.
These weren't here. Okay, I have these now. I had food to eat. Now I have rocks.
I control our rations to see if there are gems in there now.
No. Sin seems to be the only one that's had this mysterious theft.
Maybe there's small creatures in the jungle that might be sneaking through our packs.
That's something a thief would say.
You hear a small chuckle as you look over, and sitting on driftwood, Azaka seems to be dumping out her boots, kind of relaxing and stretching before you guys kind of get into a cramped canoe. And she turns to you, Sin, and she says, "Aha, you are visited by Chewinga."
Chawanga what? Chimichanga?
No, Sharinga, man. Didn't you know him?
Jenga.
No, me neither.
Chewingas are small spirits. They visit travelers throughout the jungle.
Be right
It
back.
is as if the very island is personified in these small little beings. They are very hard to see, but they have been known to steal things from time to time, but usually leave a present in return.
I like my food right where it is.
Says, well, the next time you will have to catch the Chewinga.
And I will eat this chimichanga.
Says, I'm not sure I've ever known someone to eat a Chewinga. I would be interested to see this.
Well, it's stole. And don't steal from me. But what are these gems? Like, what are they?
She just looks and
Quick question, guys. Are we playing any longer? Then I have to move my laptop just very quickly if we're playing any longer.
we'll be coming to a close right away here.
Oh, okay.
All right. The next day, the next couple of days actually, your travels are mostly uneventful. You see small things here and there. You do catch sight of some disturbance in the water on your third day's journey, and Azaka tells you that these are quippers, swarms of quippers that are known to be essentially like piranhas. They travel in packs and kind of eat anything that is put in the water. You pass by them. As you get deeper and deeper into the jungle, you see pteranodons winging overhead, huge flying dinosaurs with these long kind of beaked faces almost. And on the night of the 5th day of your journey, you actually catch sight of what seems to be almost a flame hovering in the middle of the dark sky. Whether it sits atop something or whether the flame is actually just hovering there, it's hard to tell because at this distance, even with those with dark vision, you can't make out any particular shape that flame may be attached to because you're seeing it at about a distance of probably 10 to 12 miles. And Azaka turns to you and she says, "That is Firefinger, way off in the distance there. We must rest under the canopy of the jungle while we plan. The Terra folk like to wing high overhead or miles around. When you are ready, when we have a good plan, strike." And that is where we will end the first ever session of Fumbles and Fame plays Tomb of Annihilation. So, for our viewers, thanks for watching so much. Thanks for being so patient and coming back after all of our multitude of technical difficulties. Special thanks goes to Henrik, Mr. Tarask himself, for getting us back on stream and live. Thanks goes to the mods that helped me see all the XP stuff. I hope you viewers enjoyed using that XP. Try not to abuse that in the future. I don't want to kill my players too quickly. And just as a last little bit of tidbit before we end stream, Henrik, I'll rely on you to stop the stream. But as the last little bit before, I will let the viewers know that when we come back next session, which is still to be announced, so stay tuned on the Fumbles and Fame Twitter. The next session, the characters will come back level 3.
And I think I can speak for the entire party when I want to thank our awesome, awesome dungeon master from tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
Awesome, Steven.
for giving us such a vast world to play in, because you're doing a very awesome job.
Hey,
Because it's
when I've got
all theater of the minds right now, and it's actually very good. And although you're probably reading some of that stuff, your reading voice is also very good. So thank you.
Thank you. When I've got great players, it makes it nice and easy to do. All right, we're gonna sign off, folks. Thanks again for watching us. We'll see you next time. Stay tuned on the Twitter.